low-mannered, and lucky to play with his son, Matthew, who's not dissimilar in his mannerisms and how he goes about it. His two daughters play in a football team over here that I oversee, and so I get to see him pretty regularly, and they've got some similarities. His brother Jonathan as well played at Hawthorn. Look, he was an incredible player. Only seen highlights of him. He and Russell Liebert are the two that they talk about.
I was going to ask you, Jamo, who was better?
Hard to split, Brogues. Well, so Barry Robin played centre-half forward, ruck and centre. 201 games for North Adelaide, 17 state, 3 Magarey medalists, 7 best and fairest. Now, those 7 best and fairest was 7 years in a row.
Wow.
For North Adelaide as well. 2-time premiership, and then coached and played while he was at North Adelaide too. So, an incredible player, and I think I'm right. Tom, you might recall, I think in a state game, Lee Matthews, I think it was either a pretty ordinary tackle which took his knee out, and I think that hampered him from a while. But I think out of Russell and Barry, it's really level pegging in terms of the two greatest SANFL players that come out of South Australia.
Well, Bruce McAvaney, who's obviously famed AFL and SANFL before that, caller said that almost impossible to split them, but he would have had probably Barry just ahead during the week. I don't want to misquote him there and put him into trouble, and I know it is the week that Barry has sadly passed, but he's someone that would know Bruce McAvaney and his quality, and we know he didn't go over and play in the VFL, and that was a big thing at the time, but those state teams from South Australia are certainly punched above their weight.
Well, I only met the man once, luckily, and shook his hand and said good day, but I obviously don't know a lot about Barry Robin, but there's only 2 big names of that era, and that's Ebert and Robin. I was told that both Ebert and Robin could play in anybody's best 22 in today's game, so that just tells you how good those two were, especially Barry Robin, who played every position. Utilities, barely players can do that now. The really good players in AFL can go in every position. Barry Robin could certainly roll out today and play for the Adelaide Crows or Gold Coast today, but a wonderful. I heard Jamo the same, that he was just an unbelievable human. I loved giving back to North Adelaide community. Just a sad day for the family and South Australian football and football in general. And commiserations go to the Robin family.
So the crowd's continuing to build up here, and just a little overcast, chilly morning, gorgeous afternoon, but it will be cool enough by the time we get to the back end of this game. Quentin Hull and Tom Wilson to call it, with Dean Brogan, Rod Jamieson and Liz Walsh. Earlier today, if you are just tuning in, sort of an ebb and flow game where Geelong always had the upper hand over St Kilda. The Saints made a couple of surges, but Geelong too good in the end, and another 5 goals for Jeremy Cameron. Geelong 17 goals, 11-113 over St Kilda's 12-10-82. And only about 90 seconds left in the first half at the MCG. Collingwood lead Fremantle by 7 points. The Magpies 8 goals, 6-54 to the Dockers 7-5-47. You can hear that game on the ABC Listen app. And for those on the Gold Coast, if you missed that earlier heartbreaker, yep, it was a heartbreaker for the Titans. They played the West Tigers, and Adam Dewey kicked a field goal just before full time to see the Tigers get home over the Titans 21 points to 20. The game between the Warriors and the Knights is 15 minutes old, and the Warriors lead 6-0. Call available on the green button on the ABC Listen app. There is no late news here as far as the subs are concerned. Chase Jones is the sub for Adelaide, and yet again David Swallow's got the subs job for Gold Coast. But if you're sort of an old styler like I am, and you look at the teams on Thursday, and then you realise that coaches these days, they can swing a few changes by the 24-hour remit on Friday. So we saw Lockie Weller and Sam Collins named originally, but then on Friday it comes out that they've left Sammy Collins at home because he's still got that calf niggle. Lockie Weller's not playing. So they did bring in Alex Sexton and Mal Roses as emergencies, but they're not playing. But so it was interesting, but Collins' absence is still a massive talking point at any time, but particularly when you come to the triumvirate that is Fogarty, Thilthorpe and Walker here at the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, it is, and they've got only a couple. I took Millers out as well today, who's an absolute star. But yeah, Collins, you can't replace guys like that, especially like you said on a day like today. You're playing against the three-headed monsters of Thilthorpe, Walker, and Fogarty. So Yeah, he wouldn't be too far away. I think if they're starting to name him, he might have been pretty close this week, but decided not to risk it. But if Gold Coast are to go anything, they need their bookend, and he's not far away. I wouldn't have thought. Maybe next week or the week after. But you wouldn't risk players this time of year, so if it's still a bit of a niggle, you'd probably give him that. If he is ready to go, you'd probably give him another week just to make sure.
And I wonder, Jamo, because you're close to the club, whether or not the knowledge that, the guy that we picked up is a local guy, Oscar Adams. Let's give him a go at the big house here at the Adelaide Oval. Here in his third game in league footy, went okay the first couple. So that's sort of, if Collins plays, you wonder whether Adams does, or they're trying to get them both together. But what an opportunity for Oscar Adams today.
Yeah, look, I'm involved at Glenelg here. I look after the women's program, but oversee and watch the men's program pretty closely. Oscar Adams is a defender, played at Glenelg, got picked up in the mid-season draft. Harry Ram was another one that got picked up by Port Adelaide. But Oscar's in for his third game today, and I thought his game last week against Collingwood, he just looked like he'd been there for quite some time. So he's only a young lad, 21, and I think he'll get one of the three. And it wouldn't be surprised. He might go with someone like a Fogarty, I think, to probably the lesser height of the three. And he's a dour defender. He's composed. He can use the football, but he can do his job, and he doesn't look flustered. So I think it'll be a big day for him, and welcome back.
And the Suns are debuting Ben Jepson today, who's had quite the footy journey through a few different ports, among them Southport on the Gold Coast. So our own local expert, well known in these parts, Matty Primus, who's now the head coach at Southport, has been on the coaching panel there for a while. I sent him a message, said, okay, Matt, what's the oil on Ben Jepson? And he has texted back, beautiful skills / especially field kicking. Great composure, has been playing wing and a little bit off half-back. Reads the play very well. So there you go. That's the mail on Ben Jepson, who is another of the mature age recruits. He's a 23-year-old, will wear number 44 for the Gold Coast Suns and coming in for his debut today. The Suns are out there. The Crows are making their way out onto the Adelaide Oval. We'd love to hear from you on 0437 774 774 if you've got a text. And the footy not too far away on this Sunday. For those just joining us on News Radio through South East Queensland, welcome. It's Quentin Hull and Tom Wilson to call Adelaide and Gold Coast alongside Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan and Liz Walsh. And the distinctive sounds of the Crows theme song rousing its way through the stands here on what's a pretty good afternoon for football. Earlier today, it was a victory to Geelong to the tune of 31 points at Cardinia Park. They beat the Saints 17-11, 113 to 12-10, 82. Half-time at the MCG, and Collingwood has a 7-point lead over Fremantle. So plenty of sport going on around the place. The Listen app is where you can make your choice, either those games or the NRL as well, with the Knights and the Warriors doing battle after a 1-point win for the Tigers. But gentlemen, Dino and Rod, a chance for you to really take us into the nitty-gritty of this matchup, which, as I said, it's the cheeky blockbuster of the weekend. Who would have thought when the fixture came out that this would be such a keenly anticipated game? Both teams have only lost the 5 games for the year. Adelaide has the 1 extra win because the Suns have got that game against Essendon in hand. But for Gold Coast, they've got to do something that they've never done if they are to take the 4 points away from today's fixture, and that's win at the Adelaide Oval. 11 tries, no wins.
And head-to-head, 20 times they've played, 15 to Adelaide, 5 to the Gold Coast too. And there's some significant wins up on the Gold Coast to Adelaide. Remember Tom Lynch, I think, as a half-forward, kicked a 10-goal bag up there one particular game. But the Gold Coast are a very different side now as what they were back then. I think they should come here up and about, and I have no doubt they will be after their win last week against Collingwood. Just looking at the middle of the ground too, Witts, Anderson, Rao, Swallow, Flanders, Humphrey, Fiorini. These types of players can get hold of the football, and they are the number 2 and number 4 stoppage clearance and clearance centre team in the competition. So they're going to get their hands on it first. They are bulls around there, and their kicking efficiency is really good. So in terms of Adelaide wanting to perform and perform well at home, they're going to have to go head-to-head at the contested and the uncontested, use the football well. But as we spoke prior, I think where Adelaide can seriously get on top here is, one, They use the football as well as the Gold Coast, but also their defensive work. And once they get the footy back in their hands, and the Gold Coast have to really shut them down, and I don't know whether they're going to be good enough to be able to do it.
Yeah, if there's one chink in Adelaide's armour this year, it is their midfield. It's not at Gold Coast's level. They don't sit. Every other part of Adelaide's game is in the top 4 or 5 in the competition, but their midfield's, I think, it's in the bottom 8 for contested ball and clearances, and so they're going to have to play very well against Gold Coast midfield today. That's where Gold Coast can get on top of them. But like you just said, Jamo, when the ball's in general flow, if Gold Coast turn the ball over against Adelaide, Adelaide will punish them severely. So, but like we just said before, Gold Coast need to get to work. Like it's time that they came over and played at Adelaide Oval and played well. Their 11 last tries here have been, from memory, haven't been that good. They don't play well here at all. If they're serious about this year and want to make the finals and have a crack at it, this is the game you've got to get, or at least perform. Make Adelaide pull something out of the bag to beat you, because they've been horrible here, to be honest with you. And for us to take Gold Coast seriously, they're going to have to come and start winning these games. And they're in good order as well. Gold Coast had a very good game against Collingwood last week, beat the ladder leaders, albeit they fell over the line in the end, but they still got the win. They've got 11 wins this year. They've got a game in hand. Their game's in pretty good order. They've got a pretty good list. They've got a couple out, but this would be their best chance, though, I reckon, Jamo. Like, they come here today full of confidence. Their game's in good order. Their midfield is like in the top in the competition. There's no excuse for them today to not play well against, you know, probably the second best team in the competition, I think, if not the best at the moment in Adelaide.
Well, Jordan Butts goes out through his injury, and then Nick Murray comes back in.
Pretty handy in, isn't it?
Look, and what I love about Nick Murray, it's only his 5th game for the season, but he hates getting beaten. You know, like, so he's going to be on Ben Long, you would assume, at that full forward post. And I think the back line of Adelaide is really sound. Max Michelani's played some different roles, so if there is a half forward or a high half forward or a wing, Max Michelani has been that player in the last couple of weeks that's actually gone to play a negative role or a negating role, but he's also kicked goals too, which has been unusual for him in the games that he has actually played. And then Dan Curtin, who plays wing, he can swing back, but he's a high half forward wing and also goes forward and kicks goals, and he's 196 centimetres too. So the one in the midfield too that I think I touched on with Scott Burns is certainly Sam Berry, his ability and his improvement, but Jake Saligo we don't necessarily talk about as much as YB what we should, and I think that's because the rest of the midfield have actually not gone ahead of him, but they're just doing their role, and Jake's going about playing well. So I think that's the level, and it's the first time in the call we've actually spoken about Isaac Rankin. Like, he's an absolute wizard. So mouth-watering today in terms of some individual matchups, but also how this is going to unfold, because both teams are probably at the top of the game, as you've highlighted, bro.
Yeah, for Adelaide too, one thing Gold Coast they've gone out and got 2 very, very good halfbacks in Rioli and Noble. It's been a big improvement in their game. Is their ping-off halfback. There are some questions again with Adelaide. Are they too tall? Are they too slow up forward? If Gold Coast are able to get the ball to the ground, maybe Gold Coast can get some real drive out of their back half and get some good looks at it. But look, this is definitely match of the round. It's going to be an absolute cracker. And, you know, if you're Adelaide, you get this, you start moving your way up to that top 2, top 3 finish. Gold Coast win this, and then all of a sudden you start to think they could even finish top 4 with the game in hand. So, huge game. We're at the pointy end of the season. The good teams really looking to cement themselves in the top 8. And today's no exception.
Well, Liz Walsh has worked her way around to her position near the benches. Liz, for those just joining us, another scene setter in the conditions here, because the crowd's building up, and it looks like we're going to be in for a gorgeous late Sunday afternoon conditions here at the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, we certainly are. Thank you, Quentin. As you sort of mentioned, I mean, there couldn't be more perfect conditions for winter footy down here at Adelaide Oval. Very little wind. Cloud cover is certainly coming over. The temperature's sort of starting to drop, but otherwise, yeah, really beautiful conditions. And as you mentioned, the crowd is really starting to build up. One thing to note down here at ground level is that the Crows are wearing black armbands today in honour, of course, of football legend Barry Robran, but also of their life member Bob Shulbred, who also recently passed away. I'll quickly look to the benches for you as you can hear the saxophone playing in the background. We've got Luke Pedler, Jake Saligo, Zach Taylor and Mitch Hinge. They're all going to start on the bench. As you mentioned, Chase Jones goes in as the Crows' tactical sub. While for Gold Coast, Ethan Reid, Sam Closey, Connor Butterick and Joel Jeffrey are all starting on the bench. David Swallow is the Suns' tactical sub as the captains are starting to gather in the middle for the coin toss.
Good on you, Liz. Great to have Liz Walsh on board downstairs. So the Crows, well, they've got the Power waiting next week. It's always a massive game here, and same for Gold Coast. They've got a home game against the Brisbane Lions. So 2 rivalry games to follow this one here, and it's hard to understate it. I know I've sort of banged on about it a bit, Tom, but you take an extra moment and just look at this ladder, and really there's the opportunity for one of these teams to get the double chance. And I don't think either sets of supporters, well, particularly not on the Gold Coast, they would have thought, oh, look, just get us into the top 8, that's it. And there's no guarantee that they'll get there. But at the same time, I think even optimistic Crows fans would be thinking, look, Nixie's just got to get to September and we'll go from there. But it has gone better than planned. And whoever wins today will almost get to, well, an optimistic height that they wouldn't have thought earlier in the season for their fan groups.
I think the expectations that the Crows put on themselves last year really hurt fans. They were the ones talking about not just making the 8 but doing better, and they missed by a long way. So the focus has been week by week, which is a massive cliche, but it's certainly working for them. But I think fans, they're so passionate about their team. They understand that they should be in this position, and that they need to capitalise on this situation today. With Brisbane, they did Gold Coast a favour by beating the Western Bulldogs earlier this round, so that pushes them back a little bit more, and they've got that game up their hand against Essendon in that pre-finals bye that they might need to use to get in. But the expectations should be high on both clubs. Can you have more talent? Can you have more first-round picks? The only thing is that they've never done it, so that's why there's that cautious, I guess, pessimism about whether they can do it, because I think the fan bases from both teams, but especially the Suns, will be saying we're not going to believe it until it actually happens.
Who are you tipping, Dean?
I think Adelaide. Yeah, Adelaide by 3 or 4 goals. Yep.
Jamo?
Yeah, I'm the same. I just think their firepower is too much, albeit looking around the ground here at Adelaide Oval on a Sunday late game, you would have thought Gold Coast lucky to get 20. This is going to be up over 40 or 45,000.
And Adelaide faithful, when I was driving here an hour and a half ago, Jamo, everyone was on their way in. They'll get 50,000 in today. They'll get close to 50.
And Tommy, as much as Scotty Burns in the pre-game sort of rebuffed my question about let's see who's got better since round 4, that's my big watch today, because both of them were great in round 4. We've had half a season of footy since then. This promises a lot. Tom Wilson for the opening bounce of the Crows versus the Suns.
Got Wits O'Brien. We see McAndrew straight to Riley Filthorpe in the goal square. Nothing happening yet. Knocked down there in the contest, gathered by Rowell, who's tackled by Berry. Almost shrugs the tackle. Gets the handball quickly to Humphrey, who kicks it quick along the ground. Intercepted by Michaelani, but his handball was astray. Went to Flanders. Intercepted by Flanders to Ainsworth to Fiorini. Alex Neil-Bullen tackles him on the wing, and we'll have a ball up just forward of that centre wing, out of sight of the ground.
Well, Rowell and Dawson head to head of that centre bounce. That was fantastic. Rowell got the clearance. Can't wait to watch that through the game.
Both teams with their traditional home strips on. Tap down, Peatling with the row for the Crows. Hands it out the back to Berry at half-back. Kick around the boundary line off hands and out of play. So a boundary throw in on the outer side. I am an old stickler, and I love seeing the recognisable playing strips. And it looks easy too. They're very distinguishable. The predominant dark blue of the Crows and the red of the Suns. Witts taps to the front of the pack. Rao just farms it out with a little dab to Fiorini. His kick to half forward's no good. And Michaelani there to take the mark for the Crows at left half back. Takes a moment or two before being called to play on. Michaelani with a high kick towards a 2-on-2 on the wing. 2 ruckmen are there. Witts taps it away from O'Brien, but Peatling does the roving. Crows have got it on halfway.
Chucks it on the left foot towards Rankin, fisted away by Hewlin. Berry just overran it for a moment there, but Rankin goes again, gathers the footy, kicks towards centre half forward, finds Millerer, plays on quickly, looking for Filthorpe, who marks at the highest point, 35 metres out directly in front.
Just incredible precise kicking. You know, we know Rankin can just nail you from anywhere. Came inside, composed, had a look around, and then Wayne Miller. It's great to have him back off the half-back line, and he's just as good a user of the footy, just lacing.
How's the kick? How's the kick? If you're a forward leading to that, wow.
Yeah,
that was a bullet.
He was a couple of metres behind. He had no chance.
Crows leading goal kicker with 39. Can fire a first blow for the Crows. He does it on the 2-minute mark, and they're into McAndrew.
They're into him.
McAndrew's just hit Taylor Walker high. The umpires are circling, no free kick. But the Crows strike first through Riley Thilthorpe. They're 1 straight 6. Gold Coast yet to score. 2 minutes gone.
Jared Witts has gone down there too, just to have a chat to McAndrew, and Taylor Walker's into him. So
absolutely love it.
I think they're aware of certainly the match-up, and his mouth was shooting off last time. I have watched him for quite a bit. He does mind having a bit to say.
He loves a little bit on the up. But just getting back to that goal, Jamo, how good was Rankin? He he let up the footy, got spoiled, he mopped it up, and just had the vision to switch it to Malira, who was by himself, and then Malira hits Thilthorpe with a bullet. Adelaide's, his vision and skill ranking is incredible.
And you look at the two of them, Andrew and Thilthorpe. You'd back Andrew in the leaping events and Thilthorpe in the strength events if it was track and field.
He's huge.
They're very different, but they're very talented in their own way. And that contrast is something to behold. Great tap down Witts to Anderson. Clearance Suns, but his kick inside 50 is errant. Read by Michael Annie, who takes the defensive mark for the Crows. Quickly kicks to his skipper, takes the mark at left half back. Dawson's left foot is a turnover around the wing. Kicked it straight to Rowell of the Suns. Chip in field marked by Flanders. Near the bullseye. Flanders takes a moment. Chips back to the wing for Noble. Of course, spent so much of his footy upbringing in these parts with his dad involved with the Crows for such a long time. Johnny Noble with a short pass, and Fiorini taking his time just forward of the wing. Now, deep left foot entry from Fiorini for the Suns. Intercept mark taken by Worrell in the left back pocket.
Yeah, great mark, Worrell. He's been unbelievable all year. They keep kicking the ball in like that. Adelaide's backs will have a field day.
So Miller got it at full back. Kicks out of defence, looking for Fogarty. Hewlin had his back to him. Handballed it off to Rankin, though, in the meantime, who was taken high, and he's going to win the free kick. Right half back, plays on quickly. Looking for his skipper and Thilthorpe. They spoiled each other in the end. Socket off the ground by Rioli. Got in the hands, though, of Berry for the Crows on the logo. Kicked short to Neil Bullen. He's got a runner in Peatling. The two recruits combined. Right half forward. Peatling strolls inside the forward 50. Kicking to a contest. Not quite the mark, but gathered by Walker. Tried to win the high free kick. Two Suns players dive on top. Ball filters out for the moment. Be keen for a ball up both teams. Handballed in the direction of Neil Bullen. Play on, says the umpire. He lays a big tackle. And we'll finally have that ball up 35 metres out, just around from Adelaide's goal.
I reckon Walker just fumbled that.
Yeah,
it landed right in his lap and he could have had a snap. He just fumbled it.
Yeah.
Crows lead it a goal to nothing. Witts tapped down straight to Dawson. Got a hand pass away. Rush kick into the goal mouth though. And Hewland, he's got the footy, but the umpire is saying a free kick going Adelaide's way. And it's the ex-Sun, the man who was the exclamation point at the end of the round 4 game. He kicks the goal. Plays on very quickly, Isaac Rankin in the left forward pocket. And the Crows double up early on, 2 straight to nothing, early stages at the Adelaide Oval.
Just keep an eye here, Liz, on Darcy Fogarty coming down. In that contest, it's either ankle or knee, I think he struggled, and he's coming to the boundary too. But again, we've seen the Gold Coast try and go forward. They haven't been able to do it. There's been intercepts. Adelaide get hold of it, and they are the #1 team, as we said, to go back the other way.
Yeah, Jamal, I'm keeping a really close eye on him here, and the doctor's been reviewing some footage just on the TV right next to us here. The physio is just saying ankle, so he's being led over to the doctor's bench now to be taken a good look at. I'm keeping an eye on him.
I tell you who looks really sharp. That's Rankin. Oh my God, he looks good today.
Peatling's been a wonderful acquisition to Adelaide.
Unbelievable.
Hasn't he?
Yep, and throw Cummings and Bullen in there. This is what they pay for this time of the year, the business part of the year, and these 3 players can stand up. But Rankin looks so sharp today.
What a start for the Crows. The first 2 early blows. Knocked down by Witts towards Rowell. Overrun it. Immediately tackled though. We got the handball off to Anderson. He pumps it long inside the forward 50. And a whistle is gone. It's going to be a free kick against. Going the Crows' way against Ben Long. Going to Worrell. He's got it at full back for the Crows.
Takes a moment or two. Slots a pass towards the right half-back flank. Pedler presents and takes a good grab despite the pressure of Jeffrey. Pedler for the Crows. Plays on with a left foot kick. Around the wing again, Thilthorpe and Andrew. Andrew was able to protect the drop. Thilthorpe fumbles. Andrew gathers. Hand passes to Powell. Rush kick from the half-back line to the wing, and Pedler's underneath it. Takes a Dougling grab for the Crows. Luke Pedler.
Back in today, Q.
Yep.
Played very well in the SNFL.
Pedler, here's a long kick. Up towards Thilthorpe again. Andrew got his hands to it, did well, spun out of traffic. You can hear the boos from the crowd. We expected that. And you can hear the jeers after he kicked it straight to Mitch Hinge. He marked, quickly played on to Laird. Centres the ball to Peatling. The full switch is on, looking for Curtin, the rising star nominee. Just over the top, but gathered nicely on the outer side. Very strong there from Michael Annie. Handball to Keys to Curtin, looking for Rankin. Gathers on the half volley. He dodges, he weaves, he tries to find his way along the boundary line, but is taken out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. Left half forward for Adelaide. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Yeah, Fogarty's been given a good look over by the Crows doctor. He's now having strapping put onto his right ankle, and I reckon we'll see him back out there soon.
Good work, Liz. Liz Walsh down on the boundary. Boundary throw in, attacking 50 for Adelaide. Bit shallow. Humphrey first to it for the Suns, but he's wrapped up immediately. No clearance. So it'll be tossed in the air. Right half back for the Suns, left half forward for the Crows. Witts again first hand. Dawson goes in after it. Anderson makes the tackle. Dawson just gets a hand pass clear. Bounces around. Laird first chance to gather. Can't. It's very evasive football. Rowell eventually gets his hands on it. Suns ball. Hands it to Noble at centre half back. Kicks it wide towards the wing, and Butterick running hard. Takes the grab between wing and left half forward for Gold Coast. He now picks up his feet, plays on pretty quickly. Deep entry in the direction of Reid and King. Reid's actually tapped it down to King playing Rover. Dropped it under the tackle of Curtin, holding the ball. And Dan Curtin earns the free kick for the Crows in the right back pocket. Adelaide lead it 2-0. Early stages at the Adelaide Oval.
Gold Coast need to be a bit better going inside forward 50. They just keep bombing the footy, and like I said, they keep doing that. Adelaide will win that all the time. They need some efficiency, lower their eyes and start hitting some targets. Otherwise, it could be a long night for them, because Adelaide, they love high balls inside their back 50.
Third term's underway at the MCG. 7 points to lead to Collingwood there at 8-6-54 to Freo 7-5-47. We'll keep you up to date. Call available on the Listen app.
Early stages here, 13 marks to 5 in favour of Adelaide.
So boundary throw in after Curtin's kick. Knocked down towards Saligo. He kicks a dribbling ball near the interchange gates, just in front of Neil Bullen, and that'll be thrown in front of the Suns bench.
Uncontested 22-11 in favour of Adelaide 2, and we have seen them maintain the football, change lanes, come through the middle of the ground, stretch the Gold Coast defence.
Dominating possession, Adelaide. Boundary throw in. O'Brien knocks that towards Dawson. Goes again, does O'Brien. Lays a tackle, but Flanders got the handball to Witts. And now Rioli steps inside past Neil Bullen. Sweeping handball to Anderson. He's looking for some runners. Handball's over the top. Finds a teammate in Jeffrey. Swings it wide now to Noble on the logo on the other side of the ground. This is cleaner ball movement.
It's good football.
To Closey. Just forward of centre wing. Given time to Adelaide to get back in defence and set up. They've been doing it so well. Goes inside the forward 50. Leading in that contest was Worrell. Dropped the mark. Flanders first to the ball. Tackled. And we'll have a ball up 35 metres around from the Suns' goal. Crows lead by 12 points.
It's a valid point, Brogues. They've gone in 5 times inside 50. They've pretty much gone long every time.
Clean possession, Witts. Little snap from about 40. Not great penetration from the big fella. Keane reads the drop, gets in front of King. And King takes the mark in the goal mouth for the Crows.
Another mark. I reckon Adelaide would have had 5 or 6 marks already in their back 50.
Keane with a high kick towards left half back. Very close to the boundary line. Doesn't really find a teammate. Keys, though, picks up, tackled by Closey, got a boot to it. Indiscriminate kick. Stolen by Powell of the Suns. Hands it to Rowell on 60. Rowell's entry. A half volley for Reid. Well gathered. Worrell with the pressure. Got the hand pass clear, though. Butterick through hands to Long. Long to Jepson. The first gamer. Miss kick. Laird intercepts and takes the mark at the top of the goal mouth for the Crows.
That is mark number 5 to Adelaide in the forward 50 for the Gold Coast.
Laird goes to Curtin, who's working hard down that wing. Kicks it from the left back pocket, looking for O'Brien, but in front was Powell, who takes a nice intercept mark. So right half forward for the Suns. Another opportunity to go inside 50. 7th of the game. Long into the left forward pocket looking for King. He comes over the top and spoils over Keane. And we'll have a throw-in right in front of the scoreboard. We're 12 minutes gone here in this first quarter. For ABC Sport, Adelaide 2 straight 12. Gold Coast yet to score.
Matt Rowell started really well. 4 clearances already and 7-3 in clearances favouring Gold Coast. So they're winning that battle at the moment.
Throwing with the Suns in attack. Tap back boundary side. And it'll be a repeat throw-in from the same point. Quentin Hull and Tom Wilson calling the action. Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan, your experts, with Liz Walsh down on the boundary. Cats by 31 points earlier today. And no change to that halftime score at the G. Still the Magpies by 7 points. All tossed in. O'Brien gets a telling hand. Taken by Lombard, the gun kid, but he's wrapped up by Keys, no prior. And a ball up. Leo Lombard, one of a couple of inclusions, coming in for just his 3rd game at league level.
Right half forward. Coming through was Curtin after the ball bounced from the ruck contest, knocked it towards Taylor. He turned it over to Flanders. Handball off to Rowell. He has been busy. Chucks it on his left foot, kicks to the top of the goal square. King got hands to it. Ball went to ground. Hinge was clever, just tapped it to Cumming. His clearing kick is not a clearing one. It goes to Rioli, but it went straight through his hands. He's under pressure from Peatling, but still managed to gather. Jepson, the debutant, his kick inside the forward 50's missed again. And had a play, had his head ripped off. Worrell.
Yeah, Ben King was the one, and they're into him, Tom.
Well, they've got to be better here, Gold Coast. They're getting enough of the footy, enough inside 50s. Like, it's 8-3, but their efficiency going forward is horrible.
Worrell's kick just fumbled a little by Cummings. Saligo picks up under pressure. Hand pass, hoping for a teammate, rumbles over the boundary line, in fact, not far from him. And we'll see. Oh, no, it's taken a boot. Hold on. Boundary umpires now coming in to chat to the field umpire, saying it was out on the full.
I was going to go and review it. Actually, Berry just sort of spoiled it, didn't he? And his tackle without it. It's hard to see if it came off the boot at all.
Is this the first ever review?
You should review this. Just throw it in.
Come on,
why are we doing this?
It's either out in the floor or it's not. Just pay it, whatever.
The boundary umpire's made the call. The field umpire doesn't trust him, and now he said, well, throw it in.
We need to clone David Roden and put him around the ground, put him in front of goals, give him a central
At least
job.
he'll smile on the boundary.
So what was originally deemed out on the full has now been overturned somehow. And it's a boundary throw-in, just attacking side of the wing for the Suns. Crows with the first 2 goals here. They lead by 12 points. Anderson with the stoppage clearance for the Suns. Weaves a path past Saligo. 70 out. Kicks it into attack. Going back with the flight. Good attempt to spoil from Curtin. Just spoiled the flight path of the ball. Still on the deck in a dangerous zone for the Crows. Laird picks up. Hands to Michaelani. Tackled by Lombard, holding the ball. Great tackle from young Leo. And Lombard, who did a huge celebration when he kicked his first league goal in his first game earlier in the season. And that's still his only goal through 2 games. So now Leo Lombard a chance with the man on the mark, 40 from goal, slightly to the right. Suns have had 9 inside 50s to 3, but haven't kicked a score yet. Leo Lombard with his right boot. Journey okay. Accuracy just across the face. It's a behind. Adelaide 2 straight 12. Gold Coast 1 behind. 15 minutes first term.
It's got a rock star name.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yep.
Leo Lombard. I think it's Leonardo as well.
Oh, you should call him that all day.
Bringing out defence is Laird at right half back. Gets it to Fogarty, who's back out on the ground after an early injury scare. Kicks in board towards Cumming. Just defensive side of that centre square. Members side of the ground here at Adelaide Oval. Looks for Miller, who's just come off the bench. He takes a mark. Handballs to Saligo. Got some run from Peatling. At right half forward, kicks towards Thilthorpe, who gathers like a small player off the half volley. Handballs to Neil Bullen. Walker's in the pocket. He goes to Manolo, and he slotted it! Taylor Walker, the showman, and he celebrates in front of the home fans. Adelaide are on fire, and so is their veteran. They're 3 straight 18. Gold Coast just the 1- score halfway through this first quarter.
Great call, Tommy. Well, he had to kick it because he had players on everywhere in the middle of the ground. He's absolutely kicked a belter of a goal, Taylor Walker. But Adelaide, it's just too easy when they go forward. It's way too easy. And like we said in the pre-game, Jamo, If they get their game going from back to forward, they will punish the Crows, and at the moment, that's exactly how it's going.
295 games could probably entitle you to that, Q, having a shot.
Yeah, Liz on the boundary.
I tell you what, Jordan Dawson and Isaac Rankin were both on the bench there, and you should have seen their celebrations when Walker kicked that goal.
Is there a better striker of the ball off one step in the league than Taylor Walker?
I think he's just as good almost on the left as well, isn't he?
He's elite. He's one of the best kicks ever as a forward, as a field kicker.
3 straight to 1 behind. Crows with the jump, centre bounce. Thilthorpe's in the ruck at the moment with Reid, neither with a telling tap. Fiorini's wrapped up by Berry, and he forces another stoppage in the middle of the ground.
I mean, if you're Gold Coast, you're going okay. You've had 9 to 3 clearances, 9 to 4 in inside 50s. You've had a bit of the footy, but just their efficiency is just not up to the level against Adelaide's.
Reid taps down. Berry got a toe poke at a half forward. Rankin takes it, immediately tackled, and the ump comes in once more.
Well, your points valid again, too, Bruggs. 4 inside 50s for 3 goals.
Berry again at the coalface, gets a little kick forward, not the required. Pedler takes it, called to play on. Rioli tackles him. Pedler's kick inside 50, scooped up on the half volley by Walker. Hands it defensively to Curtin on 50. Curtin overkicks his kick. He was going for Keys in the pocket. He's kicked it too far, out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Gold Coast in the right back pocket. Crows 3 straight 18, Suns 1 behind. Cats by 31 points earlier today, and the Magpies. Well, that scores 13 points to the good, Tommy, at the MCG of the Dockers.
We're just getting back to the efficiency. Adelaide are going at 72% by foot, whereas compared to that of Gold Coast, 56, sorry.
It's the difference in the game so far. Jeffrey kicked it from the right back pocket after that out in the fuller. Mark was dropped by Dawson. He was set upon. And we have a ball up at left half forward for Adelaide. Knocked down by Thilthorpe. Berry got a quick kick away towards the boundary line. It's out in the full.
G'day to Tony Fricker, who texts, "Hi Jamo and the ABC team, enjoying the Crows and the Suns game at the Adelaide Oval." Terrific call. Good on you, Tony. 0437 774 774 to get in touch. Flanders overkicks Powell at fullback, but
that's
Powell
not
can
15.
go
Play
back.
on, that's play on.
Powell go back and get it, and his short pass wasn't 15. Andrew takes it, and luckily slots it to the right half-back flank now. Jepson with his right boot. Apparently comes with very good kicking skills. That's a nice ball to the wing. Thilthorpe crashes the pack, can't mark. Ball on the deck, great row from Curtin. Hands it to Thilthorpe. Thilthorpe's hand pass stolen by Reid of the Suns. Gives by hand to Long. Long to Anderson. Anderson to Jeffrey. By hand to the middle of the ground, the Suns. Now Fiorini hands it to Rioli. Short pass, Powell on 50. Very wide kick across the arc. It's marked by Closey, but dare I say it, no closer to goal.
It was a strange kick, wasn't it? His shoulders were out and he hit it to the pocket.
That was interesting.
Good overlap running.
Yeah, good link, but to see that this is the result, man on the mark 50 out, well, Sam Closey, we'll see what he can do. 4 goals this season, 55 metres out. Oh, he's banged that brilliantly with his right boot, right to the line. Noah! It's arc time again. Any time it's close. There was a Crows defender right near the goal line who's claiming that he's got a touch. Has Keane touched it?
Review complete.
Yes, he has. So it's a point. Adelaide 3 straight. Gold Coast 2 behinds. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
We have a very sore Mitchell Hinge who's come from the ground here, just talking to the doctor. Looks like he's got an issue with his lower back, sort of pointing to the back. So I'm keeping a really close eye on him down here.
And I hate how the stats give that as a behind to Closey, because it's not a behind to Closey, it's a rush behind. Anyway, I'll leave that alone, Tom.
Miller brings it out of defence, kicking up towards the wing, towards O'Brien, but Reid got a hand in there. It's shuffled back to Noble. He's got some run. He burst past Dawson. Another inside 50 for the Suns, looking for King, but fisted away at the front of the pack by Keane. Talk about the forward line three-headed monster, Jamo. The three-headed monster back there. I know Butts is injured this week, but is working in fine form.
Yeah, look, they're just strong and dour, aren't they, too? And if it's not defending, they can certainly take an overhead mark. We all highlighted already 5 or 6 now marks to Adelaide with the way the Gold Coast are putting it into their forward 50.
21 minutes first term. Crows by 16 points. Bailey Humphrey roved the pack from throwing in the pocket. Hands it out the back to Ainsworth. Gives to Fiorini. Kick to the goal mouth over the head of King. Almost a mark. Is it paid or free kick? Holding the man, free kick going to King.
Oh, well, I know what Damien Hardwick's quarter time's address going to be is lower your eyes going inside 50. They have been horrible with their inside 50s to start this game.
Keen shot to Worrell short to Peatling. Sorry, Dean. Peatling, he's kicked that off the instep towards half back. Luckily, O'Brien's first there to meet it. Hand passes to Curtin. Kicks around the wing. Keys takes the mark. Plays on. Kicks Adelaide to half forward. Saligo is there. Takes the mark. In fact, no, that's Taylor. Young Taylor, my apologies. Kicks it to a pack. Offhands it, rolls through for a point. So 3-1-19 to 2 behinds in favour of the Crows. 22 minutes first term.
Defensively, 10 marks to Adelaide now in the Gold Coast forward 50. They have to change the way they're entering.
So Noble plays on from full-back, goes short to Jeffrey in the left-back pocket. Adelaide's well set up here. So Jeffrey's just going to bomb it long and high down the line towards the 2 ruckmen, but flying in front of the pack was Dawson. Does that so well. Just let Witts know about it too. So he's got the footy at the logo for Adelaide, who lead it by 17 points. Been very efficient going inside 50. They go forward again. He's looking for Thilthorpe. Fisted away by Andrew, gathered by Keys. He was clean towards Rankin, just at his feet though. And Rao managed to gather. Kicked it out of defence, but reading it best was Laird. So it's going to be going back in.
Conservative infield chip firstly to Worrell. Takes the mark with his left boot. Kicks it into attack. Keys the target. Powell there to make the spoil. Ground level Suns ball. Fiorini with a hand pass to 200 gamer Dan Rioli, who has a bounce through half back. Hands it on to Lombard. Lombard with his right boot. Leonardo kicks it out on the foot. For you, Jamo. Full name there. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Yeah, Mitch Hinge must have copped a knee in his back or something like that. He's in a lot of pain down here. His face was telling the full story. It's just on the physio bench, had some ice rubbed onto his back, and he's now just having a bit of a rub down. So we'll wait to see what happens here.
Nick Murray returning to the team, gets a cheer. He had it at centre half back, goes short to Millerer. His handball was intercepted quickly by Witts. That was clever. He just read it, didn't he?
Well, I'm not sure he should be handballing to a Nick Murray running past him, Miller. We want to see him go back and actually kick the footy instead of Murray. No disrespect to Murray, but that's not his role.
Just too close to the person on the mark. Well done, Reid.
So it was Reid. Witts has worked his way back into the ruck now. It was knocked straight down to Cumming. Handballs it off to Neil Bullen. He's got some options. Keys chips it over the top to Cumming on the wing,
who just decides to slow up for a moment. And oh my word, there were no Suns player really trying to take the mark or stop or infringe the player, yet someone's lost a foot because they put it on a landmine in the demilitarised zone.
You talk about Q, that one being touched on the line and should be right. It's almost let's just win the war, you know. Like sometimes it's actually, I mean, that influences a game significantly. Talk about moments, whether it's 2 minutes to go in the last, but here he is now on the wing, brings inside forward 50, having a shot on goal with something that was so minor.
Man on the mark, 40 out for Isaac Cumming. Set sail with a right boot from 48. It's across the face to the right and to behind. Adelaide 3-2-20, lead Gold Coast 2 behind. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. G'day to the McArdles. They're on their way back from Kangaroo Island. They've had a week away. Nice to have you with us. 0437 774 774.
You been there, Q?
No, I haven't.
Need to do it.
Yeah, okay.
Get your family there.
I've eaten plenty of food from there, though.
Rioli kicked a check side from full back towards centre wing. Rao managed to gather, shrugged a tackle from Peatling, handballed it forward. Miller was met with a huge tackle from Long. He went the don't argue. He caught one high though.
Oh, he got lucky.
Oh,
he got real lucky. Great tackle. Great tackle.
I love Ben Long. I really enjoy watching him play. That was so close to holding the ball.
All Australian contention, no doubt. Kicks Long into the forward 50. Peatling manages to row, but Rao wrapped him up immediately like a boa constrictor. Noble in that tackle. It just bounced out over the boundary line before Noble could gather. So we'll have a throw in right half forward. Adelaide lead by 18 points.
Bloody Rao.
I think it'd be like trying to tackle a crocodile.
He's just a beast, isn't he? He's up to 7 possessions, 7 contested, 4 clearances.
He's a brute.
Throw an attacking 50 for Adelaide. O'Brien taps down. Ricochet falls to Rankin. 60 from goal. Chips a hoping ball to the pocket. Thilthorpe's got a couple to beat. And Adams is there to tap it over the boundary line. Mac Andrew helps. Cue the pantomime boos for Mac Andrew, taking the ball beyond the paint. So throw in near the Crows race right forward pocket at the Riverbank stand end. 18 points the lead to the locals. O'Brien to the front of the ruck contest, taps it towards the goal mouth. Adams first there for the Suns. He and Fiorini conspire to rush him behind. It's fair enough. 3-3-21 to 2 behinds. The Crows lead it by 19 points, and we're 27 minutes into the first quarter.
Gold Coast really struggling here from these kick-ins to get it past their halfway line. This time Rioli goes to traditional drop punt. Long towards Walter, who got 2 hands on it, but Murray came over the top, worried him out of it, and we'll have a throw in just forward of the benches.
5 minutes left in the third quarter at the G. Collingwood 9-8-62, Fremantle 7-5-47. So it's the Magpies by 15 points in that keenly anticipated game. If you missed it earlier, Cats too good for the Saints by 31 points at Cardinia Park.
Boundary throw in. O'Brien was twisted in the contest, fell in the lap of Anderson, who was tackled by O'Brien, quickly got a handball away. Fiorini kicks towards Walter again. Murray for company. Roving is Humphrey. Big bump from Miller. He almost pulled out at the last moment.
Brilliant.
Ainsworth kicks inside the forward 50 and another poor attempt because it kicked it straight to Worrell.
How many intercept marks for Worrell in this quarter alone? He'll kick long towards the wing. Curtin outmarks Fiorini. Good grab from Dan Curtin.
Worrell's had 4 marks, but it's 11 marks inside 50 to Adelaide in that defensive area.
Incredible. I don't think I've heard of a stat like that in the first quarter, Jamo.
Curtin short pass to Saligo. Saligo with his right boot kicks Adelaide into attack. Adams flies across the top of the pack to spoil for the Suns, and it's off hands and out of play in the right forward pocket.
That was the ball by Humphreys, that 50-50 with Malira. He just got it, spun out of it, but just his kick was poor going inside 50, as has the trend been for all of Gold Coast this first quarter.
Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson, your company on this Sunday afternoon throw-in with the Crows in attack. Again, pretty hot ball at the coalface there. Ball spews out boundary side. Rioli almost legged by Dawson. No, not legged, but taken high by the second tackler, Saligo. Free kick to Rioli on defensive 50 left half back. Dan Rioli, congratulations to him. 200 games. What a career. And boy, Tommy, isn't he making his impact at his new club?
Certainly is. Loves the coach, Damien Hardwick. Able to get there from Richmond and follow him up. The ball goes down towards centre wing. Flying in that contest was Hewlin. He claims he got first hands on that. I think he did too. The umpire says nope, so we'll have a ball up. He was tackled by Peatling. It's just forward of centre wing. Adelaide Crows way. They are leading by 19 points in this first quarter. Entering the 30th minute, the 30-minute mark. Knocked away by O'Brien, gathered by Peatling. He probably dipped his head there looking for that sneaky free kick that we've seen the midfielders master. Nothing doing. So we'll have a ball up at left half forward. Dying seconds of this first quarter, the Crows by 19 points.
They're about 60 from home at left half forward, Adelaide. O'Brien clean possession, but he tangos with wits over the boundary line. Liz on the boundary.
Yeah, Crows are in the wars down here. Now we've got Sam Berry with his right boot off. He's got an issue with his big toe, and it's just being strapped at the moment.
Thanks, Liz.
Sorry.
Raul bursts away from the stoppage. He will get back to you shortly. Kicks it towards the edge of the centre square. Fiorini takes and delivers a left foot pass to the leading Walter. 48 metres from goal. And Jed Walter, he doesn't mind taking his moment, this young man.
He's a good size, Q, too.
Big lad from Palm Beach, Currumbin. And I think the siren might just go before he kicks this, so we'll get his moment. He's the kind of guy that wouldn't mind an after the siren beyond 50. Suns haven't kicked a first quarter goal. Can Jed Walter step up to the plate? No, he's mishit that to the right. Attested to by the cheers of the Adelaide faithful. It's no score, and indeed quarter time at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows 3-3-21 lead the Suns 2 behinds. Thilthorpe, Rankin and Walker, the goal kickers in that first term. Earlier today, Jeremy Cameron kicked 5 as Geelong had a 31-point victory over St Kilda at Cardinia Park. It was the Cats 17 goals, 11, 113 to the Saints 12, 10, 82. And with just under 3 minutes of playing time left in the third quarter at the MCG, the Dockers staying close to the Pies. There's only 9 points in that. Collingwood 9-8-62 lead Fremantle 8-5-53. For our Gold Coast listeners, if you missed it earlier today, a heartbreaker in the league for the Titans, with Adam Dewey kicking a 79th minute field goal for the West's Tigers to beat the Titans by 21 points to 20. It's half-time at Hunter Stadium in Newcastle. The Knights 12 lead the Warriors 6. But here at the Adelaide Oval, it's the Crows by 19 points at quarter time. It's Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Hi, I'm Corbin Middlemass.
And I'm Ed Cowan.
He played Test cricket for Australia.
And Ed Cowan gets his first Test match century.
And he commentates the cricket.
Stark tries again. He rocks in straight through him. Together, we're giving you your weekly cricket conversation.
We're pulling apart the biggest stories in the sport and delivering them to you each and every week.
It's called the Grandstand Cricket Podcast. Find it on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Rankin goes again, gathers the footy, kicks towards centre-half forward, finds Millerer, plays on quickly, looking for Thilthor, who marks at the highest point, 35 metres out directly in front.
Just incredible, precise kicking.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was a bullet.
Can fire a first blow for the Crows. He does it on the 2-minute mark, and they're into
They're into him.
Mac Andrews just hit Taylor Walker high. The umpires are circling, no free kick, but the Crows strike first.
Dawson got a hand pass away. Rush kick into the goal mouth though. And Hewland, he's got the footy, but the umpires
Free kick, break it.
A free kick going Adelaide's way. And it's the ex-son, the man who was the exclamation point at the end of the round 4 game. He kicks the goal. And the Crows double up early on.
Kicks towards Thilthorpe, who gathers like a small player off the half volley. Handballs to Neil Bullen. Walker's in the pocket. He goes to Manor, and he slotted it! Taylor Walker, the showman, and he celebrates in front of the home fans. Adelaide are on fire.
He's absolutely kicked a belter of a goal, Taylor Walker.
This is ABC Sport's coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Just the second goalless first quarter for the Gold Coast Suns in 2025. Welcome back to the Adelaide Oval. Quentin Hull and the team contemplating things through the first half hour. It's the Crows by 19 points at 3-3-21 to the Suns' 2 behinds. And those 2 behinds came from 14 inside 50s. They actually had more insides than the Crows, 14-12 in that first quarter of footy. Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson, how did that happen?
Well, again, you have a look at it, 13 marks to 2 in favour of Adelaide in the defensive area, or the forward half or forward 50 for the Gold Coast. So that's just poor. They're getting enough of the footy. They're just not using it well. Reflective in their kicking efficiency, 75% to 64 in favour of Adelaide. The one for me, also in that forward 50 for the Gold Coast, 23 disposals to 12. So even when they're getting it in there, the Gold Coast can't get their hand on it at the moment too. So around the ground, I think their run and their rebound is good. I think they've really hung on as the quarter's gone on in the back half. The midfield, once again, clearance work, 13-6 in favour of the Gold Coast. So they're getting their hand on the footy, Brogues as well. But just, again, Rao, Rioli and also Anderson, 9, 8 and 8 respectfully. Josh Roller's been outstanding in the back half for Adelaide.
So the efficiency's not great going forward, but they can't even keep it in there, because when opposition mark the footy, you don't even have a chance to have a stoppage or even get some time in your forward half. So the message from Damien Harwood will be, boys, kick a bit wider and get a stoppage, and let's just play some time in our forward half, because if you play a forward half game, you get some repeat entries, you will get a nice little easy one where you can hit a forward up. We only saw it right at the last shot on goal to who was it that had the last shot on goal? Walter.
Yep.
He led at the footy and he finally got a mark. So they need some time in their forward half. They just can't stop Adelaide marking the footy and then going down the other end. And for 12 inside 50s, Adelaide have had 6 shots on goal. So, you know, they're going at 50% when they go inside their forward 50. But like you said, Jeremy, the rest of their game's okay. Their clearances, contested possessions, they're getting enough of the footy. It's just that last piece for them, which is a huge piece, mind you. They need to tidy that up, which I'm sure they will. But if you're Adelaide, yeah, their game looks good, doesn't it? They look sharp, they look energised. Have you got some concerns? It's around their clearance work. They were, on the back foot or a little bit around stoppage. So, that's why if you're Gold Coast, get some stoppages in your forward half because you are winning clearances. So, look, it's a bit of a reset for Gold Coast, but the signs for Adelaide at the start of this game were really good. They look really sharp.
Cloesy 2, Long 2, Reed 2, Lombard 2, Butterick 2, Walder 1, King 1. That's their forward line for the Gold Coast. They've hardly touched it.
Got to get the ball to the ground.
Look at the other side, and you go, Worrell's had 6, Curtin's had 8, Miller has had 6, so it's actually almost a mirror image.
G'day to Mark on the text on 0437 774774. He asks, hello Q, what number consecutive game for Ben Keys? Make it 124 in a row for the former Queensland underage captain who's, of course, made Adelaide such a prolific home since moving from Brisbane. Second quarter's underway. Anderson with a hand pass back at the contest, but the Crows are all there to swarm on it. It's Michael Annie receiving a hand pass from Laird. Kicks out towards the wing. Miller gets on the end of it. Hand pass to Neil Bullen. Runs into a wall. Jeffrey with the tackle, holding the ball. And Jeffrey takes the free kick for the Suns on halfway out of side. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Mitchell Hinge has been subbed out of the game at quarter time, guys. Chase Jones comes in. The Crows are calling it a hip injury.
So a kick long down the line, gathered by Long. A free kick's being pulled out here. Just seeing which way the umpire is going to point. They go the Crows' way. I did see Matthew Nixon, Nathan Van Berlo, the midfield coach, chatting at length with Chase Jones at quarter time. So they were certainly prepping for a move to bring him onto the ground. So Miller at right half back went short to Cumming to Dawson. Still defensive side of centre wing.
Two different players, isn't it? Too. Hinge plays high and tall and does rebound exceptionally well. Chase Jones, just coming in for his third or fourth game of the season, second, but also has the ability to use the football very well, but just plays a different style.
So Worrell switched the play to Murray, who took it one-handed. Mark, skillful. Gets it to Michael Annie at left half-back. So going slowly here, Adelaide, to start this quarter. Now the kick down the line, looking for Curtin. Normally grabs those just through the hands, gathered by Rioli. His handball was intercepted by Curtin. A don't argue from Rankin. A handball over the top to the Keys, who's being tackled by Jepson the first game of putting the pressure on. Got it to Rao, to Anderson, back to Rao. And he does a full spin. Not many options, so just a tumble kick towards Humphrey, and it works.
Humphrey just slipped as he was going to play on, regathers his balance, kicks inside 50 but over the head of Long, met by Keane of the Crows, rides a tackle, hands to Worrell. Worrell through Michael Annie, and the clearing kick hits Berry at left half back. Berry with the mark, plays on with the kick to the wing. Walker's nudged underneath it by Adams. Well done, young man. Oscar Adams takes the grab on the wing for the Gold Coast. Hands it off to Hewland. Bodie Hewland with a kick inside 50. Through the fingers of Reed. Out the back, Keane Rose for the Crows in the left back pocket. Right foot kick is a bit of a wobbler to the corridor. Keys can't gather on the half volley. Got to push in the back though. Free kick to Ben Keys at defensive 50. No score through 2.5 minutes of the second term. It's still Adelaide by 19 points at 3-3-21 to Gold Coast 2 behinds.
Laird's got it. He just works back towards Miller, and not 15, says the umpire. He's back in the D50, but the switch is on to Worrell. He marks at the other half back line. The right half back kicks long out towards Cumming. He's got some space on the centre wing, so he plays on quickly. Pumps it inside the forward 50, looking for Thilthorpe. Got some space. The kick didn't make it all the way. Andrew and Noble were there. The handball over the top towards Andrew. He's happy to see this go out over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in right half forward for the Crows. They lead by 19 points. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Seems to be a concern now for Daniel Rioli from the Suns. He's come really gingerly from the ground. Seems to be a knee issue on his right leg.
That'd be a big loss too with his run and rebound.
It's been a busy start down there. Liz Walsh keeping you up to date with the movements on the bench. Coming off the boundary throw in at right half forward for the Crows. No great creativity about their hand pass. It's seen over the line. Jepson there with Peatling. Ben Jepson, 23 years of age. He's had a varied footy journey, but Coburg at VFL level, Southport as well. And playing his first game in AFL footy today. Throw in, still right half forward flank for the Crows. O'Brien gets it to his boat. Toe pokes inside 50. Walker got a one-handed piece of a mark that he couldn't complete. Rode by Neil Bullen in the pocket, and a brilliant snap, hard on the boundary. 30 from goal. Oh, the skill when the players are running towards the boundary and hook the ball across their body. Great goal from Alex Neil-Bullen. That's 4 for the Crows. And the lead is 25 points at 4-3. 4-3-27 to 2 behinds.
Oh, Neil Bullen, like that's an unbelievable goal. Like that's an Isaac Rankin sort of goal, isn't it? In Eddie Beck's pocket territory. But look, Adelaide, they're just so efficient when they go forward. Every time they go in, it looks like they're going to score. Whereas Gold Coast, 2 times they went in, turned the ball over. Nothing's changed for them at the start of this quarter. So they better tidy it up, otherwise this game is going to get away from them, Jamo.
Just under 5 minutes now, 20-7 uncontested, and just that last passage of play where Miller went out wide, he went out to Cumming. Cumming didn't actually deliver as he should have, but they just create and open up some space for the ground.
O'Brien down towards Berry. It's going to be a free kick for a hold against Anderson. Miller was running past there. His turnover game from Adelaide is just sensational. They're the best at it in the comp. Berry goes inside the forward 50 and a free leap for Walker. Takes the mark, 40 metres out directly in front.
There's a lesson, Oscar Allen. He's just got to get up at the football and just put his fist through it too. He outbodied Taylor Walker before the last contest. Taylor Walker got one back, wasn't clean, but on that occasion, just body in front, used it well, got in the drop zone, and Oscar couldn't do a thing.
Game 295 for Taylor Walker. Could go on next year at this rate. Kicked an amazing check side in the first quarter. Going for goal number 2, directly in front from 45 metres out. The goal umpire didn't move. 2 quick ones for the Crows to start the second. They're 5-3-33. Walker's got his second. Gold Coast at 2 behinds. That's a 31-point margin, 6 minutes gone into the second term.
Oh, well, this game's starting to get away from Gold Coast. I feel it is, lads. I just don't think that they're up for it now. Like, their inside in 50s is absolutely horrible, and now they're getting done on the clearances. They just can't go with Adelaide in their forward line. I'm sure Damien Harwood's in there scratching his head going, how do we start a game like this when top 4's on the line? I know Adelaide are a good side, but yeah, Gold Coast just I thought they were in the game, Jamo, but this game is quickly getting away from them.
9 marks to 2 already this quarter, 29-13 disposals. So
it's the aerials killing them, isn't it?
Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson, your experts on Sunday footy on ABC Sport. 31 points the lead to the Crows. Suns yet to kick a goal. Peatling with the clearance, hands to Saligo. Off they go again. Saligo with the kick, looking for Phil Thorpe. Just a bit too high for him. Andrew makes the spoil for the Suns. Rode by Jeffrey in the pocket. Hands it to Big Mac. Mac at his toes. Good hands to pick it up. Hands it back to Jeffrey. Jeffrey hands it to Powell. They run to half back. Powell now kicks to the wing. Big contest. Walter at the front, couldn't mark, but rode by Butterick. Gives it off to Rowell. He rides the tackle of Cumming. Got a hand pass out the back. Anderson picks up, gives to Butterick. Butterick's hand pass is going to be intercepted by O'Brien. The big fella on hands and knees does well. Taps it to the advantage of Worrell. Crows ball at half back. Gave it to Neil Bullen. Rush kick to O'Brien. His rush kick is turned over though. Anderson takes a mark, and after a bit of a flurry there, Tommy, now they'll hold it up here, and Anderson will set things up on halfway.
I think they were saying, get out of the way, Riley.
Chaotic footy, certainly. Anderson goes short to Flanders.
Breaking news, as expected, Stephen May sent directly to the tribunal for that bump in the game against the Blues last night. Careless, severe, high. Straight to the tribunal.
So Flanders goes to Powell. 70 metres from Gold Coast goal. Kick it to the hot spot. Need a mark, need a fly. They need something. Gathered by Curtin. Handball's back towards Keane in the goal square. He had the option to rush it. He would have been pinged. So he kicks it out towards Saligo. That's at left half back, but his opponent, Powell, got in front and won the free kick. Chop of the arms. So he's got it 55 metres out for the Suns.
I think he's a chance to get off, May. You know, the Alex Pearce one over earlier this year.
So Pearce kicks towards the boundary line. That was out of bounds on the full. Had too much on it for Walter. So a free kick going Adelaide's way. Left back pocket. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Looks like Daniel Rioli getting ready after lots of discussions with the physios to come back on. He's got strapping on his left calf. Could be an issue down here, but he looks set to come back on.
Thanks, Liz. Worrell with a long inbound, and Phil Thorpe at the front of Andrew takes the mark. Just beyond defensive 50 at left half back for Adelaide. Phil Thorpe with his right boot, kicks it towards half forward for the Crows. Hewlin comes in to spoil for the Suns. Flanders dropped the ricochet, goes in again, can't pick it up. Soligo does, beats the Flanders tackle, hands it to Berry on 50. Berry to Neil Bullen for 2 in the quarter, outside of the right boot. Bounces the wrong way for him. It's across the face for a point. It's relentless from the Crows at the moment. The lead is 32 points at 34-2.
Their aerial dominance, it's 45 to 19 marks, and we've only been going 10 minutes into the second quarter. Incredible statistic, that one.
Noble plays on. Gets it to Anderson, who kicks towards the wing, outer side. 2 Crows out there. Coming across the front was Miller. Double fist out over the boundary line throw.
G'day to Emma from Hobart. She's listening to the footy while making meatballs with her daughter on a Sunday night.
Amazing.
Good on you, Emma. Go Crows, she says. 0437 774 774. And now I need to find a tissue for Jamo after that text, Emma.
Rice or spaghetti?
Got to be spaghetti. Boundary throw in. O'Brien knocks it to the space. Peatling gathers. Handballs forward. Just too much on it for Neil Bullen. He steps inside though. That was clean. Dribbling ball. Intercepted. Well, blocked off by Pedler. He snaps with the left foot to the top of the square. A number of Suns are there. 3 of them in fact, and they knock it over for a rush behind. That's a 5-5-35 Adelaide Gold Coast to 2 behinds. That's 33-point margin. The tissues have arrived.
Yeah. Super Tech Paul's playing his part by bringing a napkin up for Jamo.
I thought he was bringing meatballs.
Yeah,
that's what I was hoping.
See, to be precise, I'd go linguine with meatballs. I like the thicker pasta for those kinds of dishes. Good on you, Emma. You've got us distracted. Suns with the inbound. Jeffries kicks a turnover. He had a bounce, ran to the pocket, kicked it straight to Laird. Laird marks forward of the wing for the Crows. Chips infield to Berry.
Wow.
Ben Long's in the demilitarised zone and concedes 50. You can't do that. So Sam Berry will be marched to scoring range. This is a handy 50. Still going, the umpire.
It's just a critical one, isn't it, too? Like Ben Long anticipated. That's where he wanted to swing onto his right through the middle of the ground. He took one step to his left and the umpire just nailed him.
So Long's now only, 35 metres out from goal? So a really good opportunity for this onslaught to continue. 3 goals for the year for Sam Berry. Where's the number 3? Runs over 50. Accelerates into a right foot drop punt from 40, and it's a thing of beauty for the Crows. As is this first quarter and a half for Adelaide. 6-5-41 plays zip 2-2. 39 points is the lead to the Crows 12 minutes into the second term.
Well, I'm starting to see a bit of frustration from the Gold Coast. Couple of players, when they turn the ball over, the hands are going up, and the 50 metres from Long there, arguing with the umpire, arguing with his teammate. The signs look very dangerous for Gold Coast right now. The one thing they did have in order was their clearance game, Jamo. Adelaide are 5-zip in that space, and that's one thing Gold Coast is going to hang their hat on through the game, but even that's lost now, and this could get very, very ugly for the Gold Coast if they don't start to get their game in order.
Getting some of their own medicine, wasn't it, too? They restricted Collingwood at half-time, I think, to no goals.
Procession so far at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide lead by 39 points. Witts knocks that down towards Rao, who was immediately tackled by Soligo, but he was clean to Fiorini. Here's an opportunity. Inside the forward 50 goes Closey, looking for Walter. Pushed underneath the footy, gathered by Cumming in an arm wrestle with Lombard, and we'll have a ball up right forward pocket for Gold Coast, who desperately need to respond here in this second term.
Early stages, final term at the G. The Pies lead the Dockers by 16 points. Stoppage in the forward pocket for the Suns. Rowell crashes back into the congestion. He's locked up by the combo of Cumming and Soligo. And the up comes in, quickly tosses it in the air. Witts taps down. Ricochets to O'Brien. Gets a toe poker clear to defensive 50 for the Crows. Underneath the chop there, Taylor tries to pick it up. Not a great effective handball, so he goes again, Taylor, and he's tackled over the boundary line, and we'll see the ball thrown in. Quentin Harlan, Tom Wilson calling the action with our premiership pair, Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson, Liz Walsh on the boundary at Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Adelaide 6-5-41 to Gold Coast, 2 behinds, and we're 14 minutes into the second quarter.
Witts works his way to the front, knocked it to the front. Overrunning it was Rouse. Saligo's in there as well. And we'll have a repeat ball up here. Just an update in the Super Netball. Adelaide's attempt, the Thunderbirds for 3 straight titles unprecedented, is over. They lost by 2 goals to the Vixens in a grand final rematch. So unfortunate for the Thunderbirds, but the Vixens go through to the prelim final next week. In the meantime, Crow skipper Jordan Dawson has won a free kick on the corner of the centre square. Plays on quickly now, up towards Walker. He stays down, so does Pedler. They've got numbers down here, Adelaide. Handball's over the top to Taylor. Snaps to a dangerous position. Keys is all on his own. How does that happen? 30 metres out, directly in front.
Just lost their way, Gold Coast. Even then, when they tried to spoil that ball, went over the back, which is a cardinal sin. You've got to spoil the ball. It's got to come to the front. 2 Gold Coast went up, went to spoil it. It was a soft ball, went over the back. Walker mopped it up and leads to an inside 50. Easy, uncontested mark for Keys.
So Worrell's kick off the half-back line, that almost went 60 metres.
Dawson, yeah. Dawson. Yep. So Keys, what a season he's having. A fan favourite. And he chips this through for another goal, and he lets Mac Andrew know about it. They're into him. They haven't forgotten. And neither of these fans. This is a procession here. And the umpires are circling. And it looks like there's going to be a free kick.
Oh, wow.
It's worked. You said they were losing their head, Brogues.
It's going to go to Pedler, is it?
Is it?
Pedler's the man walking back. Now the umpire's 25 metres out directly in front.
It is too. Wow.
Just watching the replay here on the monitor.
Yeah, trying to pick it up, Jamo.
You can see Keys with a double celebration because he's worked out what's happened. So he gets the goal. Pedler's going to get the free kick.
Oh, this is a capitulation from Gold Coast. It really is.
It's against Andrew. We know that because the champion data computer is telling us that. Yeah. But for what, we're not sure because the replay sort of moved away from Mac Andrew.
So Pedler for the double blow. And it could blow the Suns out the water. Pedler strolls in and kicks it. The umpire's standing in the way of Mac Andrew because the Crows are going to want to circle again. Adelaide 8-5-53. Gold Coast just the 2 behind. This is an absolute reality check. 16 and a half minutes gone second term.
Well, we had our doubts on Gold Coast coming into today. Are they serious about the season?
Yeah, there was an errant finger that went into the moustache of Luke Pedler.
Yeah, it was a
pretty
push
soft.
in the face. Yeah.
Is there...
No, it was a soft free. I think when they got around Mac Andrew, he's just pushed his hand out and it's got Pedler just on the chin. Nothing in it really. And the umpires...
Would never be seen at the MCG in September, that free kick.
Yeah, it's true.
But
well, the way Gold Coast are playing, they're not going to be anywhere near September at the moment. But Adelaide, wowee, they are absolutely smashing Gold Coast here.
8-5-53 to 2 points. Centre bounce, up and under kick, doesn't clear the middle of the ground, but Neil Bullen gets underneath a bomb to take the mark. Chips it wide, just forward of left half-back. Saligo's in space. Runs in field. King's having to apply pressure from behind. Saligo happy to chip it backwards, where Keane takes the grab. D50, left half-back. Crows by 19 points at quarter time. They've already kicked 5 goals, 2-0 in this term to lead by 51 points. Chip to Laird, chip to Saligo, chip in field. Marks taken by Michael Annie. They're still edge of the centre square, left half-back flank. Now playing a bit of tempo, the Crows, a very measured movement forward. Great kick to Thilthorpe on the wing. They waited, Thilthorpe presents and marks. Kick infield, not great on the half volley. Saligo taken quickly. Crowd thought high by Ainsworth, ump thought otherwise. Ball up. And again, there's just a little bit of jumper tugging as the players sort themselves out, and the umpire will come in to throw it up on the broadcast wing.
Phil Thorpe in front of Reid. Bodies crash through. Beatling's at the bottom of the pack laying a tackle. We'll do it all again.
G'day to Julie and Andrew, who text, "Ciao, listening from Tuscany, Italy. Can't watch the match, so I'm loving your call. Go the Mighty Crows."
Oh, what a beautiful place.
That bottle of red, surely listening
To go with the meatballs.
Yeah, absolutely. Handball. Oh, that was clever from Taylor to Peatling. Fly! Oh, Pedler almost took mark of the year.
That was Dawson.
Oh, it's Dawson, my pad. He jumped like a small player, he did. Oh, my goodness, Dawson.
And the irony, too, over Mac Andrew. That would have brought the house down.
And that's where we need to change vernacular.
Oh
Andrew wouldn't have been the so-called step ladder for Mark of the Year. It would have been the full ladder.
That's true.
He's got it at full back, Andrew. Received a little dish pass there from Ewell, and now he roosts a long ball towards the outer wing. Closey had his run at the ball taken by the sub Jones illegally. Jones took his eyes off the ball. So free kick to Closey. Chase Jones is in the game already because Mitch Hinge has been subbed out with a hip injury. Jeffrey receives a hand pass. Left half back for the Suns. Kicks to a pack. Worrell's fist knuckles it over the boundary line for a throw in. That's right, Adelaide 8-5-53, Gold Coast 2 points. 2 points. And we're almost at the 20-minute mark of the second term.
Just kicking long. They have slowed down. Gold Coast can't generate like overlap run or short overlap handballing.
Closey goes inside the forward 50, but again, reading it best is the Crows' defence, Worrell.
This guy's unbelievable, isn't he? Yeah, what a year this guy's having, Worrell.
Has to be in all-Australian contention. So the selectors are watching these games as well.
Great
Goes
kick.
long towards Dawson, who dropped that mark. A rare one and a rare interception. A poor pass, but Ainsworth just kicked it straight to Keane. He plays on quickly, runs himself into trouble. This is a dangerous ball across goal, but it works.
Saligo, sorry, he was called to play on. Tom, I thought there was a hand over there because the ump didn't know whether that was touched or not. No, play on. Hand pass goes to Keys at right half back. Kicks it around the wing and off hands and out of play. We'll see a boundary throw in.
Isaac Rankin's only had the one touch in this second quarter.
But even like that entry from the Suns, they are starting to...
It's comical now.
Yeah,
it's comical.
The pressure of the scoreboard's getting to them as well, Dino.
That was just an unpressured inside 50 kick, and he kicked it straight to the Adelaide opposition backman.
Well, 10 inside 50s Adelaide for 5 goal 2, so going at 70%.
Anderson flings out a hand pass to Witts, who's dumped by Jones. Big tackle on a big man.
Gemma, have you got the stats, how many marks they've taken, Adelaide have taken in their back 50?
Ball up on the outer side, meanwhile. Thilthorpe against Witts. Thilthorpe got the tap down to Jones. He's smashed by Flanders. No way through to it again.
20-2.
20.
Whoa.
Wow.
Adelaide have taken 20 marks in the Gold Coast forward 50 in under a half a footy.
It's remarkable. Crows again going to get the clearance. Berry to Saligo to the sub in Chase Jones. He's on for
Should have marked that.
Yeah.
That's
Oscar Adams
pressure.
under pressure. You can't get pinged for deliberate there, Isaac Rankin, if it's a marking contest, but the fans were calling for it.
You talk about pressure and scoreboard pressure and being under the pump. That was an uncontested mark by the young fella, and he's just spoiled it. No talk.
Sorry, Dean. As they say in the Classic, they've got the close one at the G. It's only a 5-point game there. Collingwood lead by 5 points mid-last term. Pat Voss has kicked 6 goals for the Dockers. Adelaide off the stoppage. Rankin bursts a tackle, but his hand pass stolen by Powell of the Suns. Hands to Fiorini, gives it off to Rioli. Rioli's chip is good. It's marked by Butterick between half-back and wing. Butterick plays on with a kick around the boundary line. Reid takes the grab for the Suns. We haven't seen too many free-flowing passages from Gold Coast as Reid cuts off a short pass infield. Fiorini grabs and now turns and sees what's ahead of him. An infield kick on the 45 to Ainsworth. Ainsworth doesn't go forward. He kicks it across the centre square. Hewlin marks on the opposite side. Chips short to Jeffrey. Jeffrey chips it to left half forward to Closey, who's 70 out left half forward. Closey's pass, not the required. Gathered on the half volley by Flanders, 50 from goal. He chips it into the forward line and Murray's there to meet it and take an uncontested chest mark for Adelaide in the right back pocket.
21. We might go down to Liz shortly and see how Jordan Dawson, the Adelaide skipper's holding up. He's on the bench.
And Rioli's come off limping again, which we had a report on from earlier. So Mitch Hinge was subbed out of the game for the Crows with a hip injury. And now Gold Coast are going to get it. Murray's kick out of defence went out of bounds on the full. So it goes back to Mac Andrew at centre wing. It's a real test for him, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
All these things that he's done. So that kick goes to Adams. He switches the play now. Powell in a paddock at centre wing. Kicks it inside the forward 50, and waiting underneath it was Worrell. But there was a block in the foreground. And it's going to be a free kick to Reid. So it's going against Keane, who blocked his jump at that ball. I think Worrell would have taken it without that assistance.
That's just such a soft decision. It genuinely is.
Got to be decided if it's going to impact the contest, surely, Jamo.
Well, it's a contest game. You know, like he just sort of ran there. And it was Reid, because he was a step or two short, he was just out of the contest. He wasn't removed from it. He just didn't allow for any contact.
From 45 metres out in a 45-degree angle, it's pulled to the left. Tried to be fisted out over the boundary line. Instead, it was kept in. Under pressure now, trying to bring this out of defence. I think was Curtin at the bottom of this pack. It was. He's tackled in the left forward pocket.
Get to Liz in a moment. Just Suns close on goal here as Witts takes clean possession in the pocket, then drops it. Gets it back, does Witts. Hand pass to Reid. Kick on goal smothered. Rolling at the top of the square. Lombard picks it up. He almost lost his shorts. Hands it to Reid. Reid has a snap. And finally, no, it's a point. It hit the post. It's another point for the Suns. Their only score of this term. Adelaide by 50. Down to Liz on the boundary.
Jordan Dawson looking a little bit proppy on his left leg. He's had some strapping put on his left calf, but he's getting ready to come back out now, as is Daniel Rioli.
So working from defence is Rory Laird at right half-back. Kicks it down the line. Looking for Keys. Fisted away by Andrew. Gathered by Riley O'Brien. Clean to Neil Bullen, who handballed it to Berry. Takes a bounce. Goes around on his left foot inside the forward 50. Dawson is back out there. Bumped in the contest. Goes again. Tries to get a handball out to Neil Bullen. He's surrounded by four Suns. Flanders worked his way. Won the free kick. That was a high tackle against Dawson, and he's going to get it at centre half back.
About 8 minutes of playing time left at the G. Magpies lead by 5 points. If you want to hear the end of that thriller, it's available on the ABC Listen app. We'll keep you up to date here, though. Noble for the Suns with the short pass. Edge of the centre square. Flanders marks, gives back to Noble. Noble kicks wide to the outer side. Fiorini takes the grab uncontested. Short pass to Rioli. Marks 60 from goal and has to hold up on the left half forward flank. Ben Key standing the mark. Suns still searching for this first goal. We're nearly at half-time. Rioli kicks to the pocket. Miller at the front of the contest spoils, but it's roved by Humphrey. Tackled by Berry. Holding the ball. Everything going Adelaide's way in this first half at the Adelaide Oval. It's Crows 8-5-53 to the Suns 3 behinds on Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
They just bombed away the Gold Coast first quarter and probably part of the second. Now I feel they're just actually taking too long to get inside 50.
That kick was marked by Riley O'Brien out of defence, but was just out over the boundary line. So Fiorini's going to bring it in, gets it to Rouse. 65 metres from goal, left half forward for the Suns. 27 minutes into the second term, still no goal. Kicks towards to the top of the goal square. King was flying, roved by Reid, dropped it in the end. He's on hands and knees at the bottom of the pack. They shovel it back to Michael Annie on the goal line. He's a high ball out of defence. Sitting under it was Thilthorpe. Knocked it down towards Rankin, who roved. Not much options forward, so he kicks a dribbling ball past Mac Andrew. Riding the tackle was Saligo. He went to don't argue, and Mac Andrew wins a contest. Well done, the big fella. Rao plays on quickly, trying to get something going for the Suns, but his teammate slips over and Rankin runs it out of defence.
Has a bounce, make it 2 to the middle of the Adelaide Oval, and a third as he weaves his way through old teammates. Now he stops and hand passes backwards.
Oh no.
Too far. Too far.
50.
And they wouldn't give, no, I think he's given gob.
Daniel Rioli's down behind play. He can't walk.
Good. Yeah, he can't walk. I reckon he's popped his calf.
Oh, so Rioli
like
being attended to by the trainers Meanwhile, the first gamer, Ben Jepson's the man who's got the free kick and the 50-metre penalty. So man on the mark's 45 from goal. So I'm going with Matty Primus's male, who coached this guy at Southport. Said he's a good kick. So, and Jepson's lining up for this shot as Dan Rioli can't put any weight on his left leg whatsoever. He's got a trainer under either armpit, and they're basically carrying off the ground with the odd right boot just sort of helping keep his balance. That left leg is no good. So Liz Walsh will keep us up to date with that. It's not only a big story today, but a big story for the Suns season. Jepson doesn't go for goal. He chips a pass instead. And the dish off to Ainsworth, 45 from goal. Liz, what are you seeing with Dan coming off?
Yeah, he's just coming straight off the ground, straight onto the doctor's bench. It's interesting because he hasn't been right on this leg for quite some time. This is now the third time he's coming off the ground with this complaint.
So, meanwhile, thanks for that, Liz. Ben Ainsworth will try and kick from 50, slight angle right to get the Suns a first half goal. He's missed it to the right. It's another behind. So, storylines are plenty at the Adelaide Oval, but they're all bad for the Suns. Crows 8-5-53, Suns 4 behinds.
Complete horror show, isn't it? You know, Rioli 3 times he's come off with that calf and they strap it up and go back out. I'd love to know what the medical staff would have seen to push him back out there, because last time I saw him run out, he didn't look good at all, and Liz was been on it all day. Very strange call to throw him back out. Looks like he's ripped it in half.
Freo have hit the lead at the G, by the way, Tommy. We've got about half a minute here. We'll take it to the end of that one when we get to half-time here.
Be a great result
if they get up.
Yeah, it would be, and a great result for Adelaide too. Flying was Hewland. Roving was Neil Bullen. Saligo cleverly knocks it forward. Neil Bullen got the handball off to Dawson, who shrugs the tackle. He can unload from 50. He actually just chipped it. He chipped it from 50. The skipper. It's party time in the first half for Adelaide. They've kicked 9. 9-5-59. Gold Coast yet to kick a goal. It's an absolute disastrous day for the Suns. They trail by 55 points. And let's get an update on the boundary from Liz Walsh.
Yeah, I've just watched Daniel Rioli hobble over to the bench. He sat down. David Swallow is not yet being subbed into the game by the looks of it. We'll probably see that happen at half-time. But it's very sad for him, obviously, playing his 200th AFL game today.
Saligo was good, wasn't he, too?
Brilliant.
Bullen, just to keep the footy alive. And we know how good Jordan Dawson is too. Gee, even with his calf wrapped up, just the space and how quickly they move the football, it's just two different sides. One is slow and high and unable to find a teammate. The other one is just electric football, open space and kicking plenty of goals.
And the truism that is, a week is a long time in football. Gold Coast did not concede a goal in the first half last week, and they haven't scored a goal in the first half this week. And well may the Crows fans applaud their team at half-time at the Adelaide Oval. A dominant first half from the locals. A 19-point lead at quarter-time has now been stretched out to 55 points at half-time. Adelaide 9 goals 5, 59 to Gold Coast's 4 behind. So the Crows kicking 6 goals 2 to 2 points. 6-2 to 2 points in that quarter. Crows 9-5, 59, Suns 4 behind. So I'll give you a quick run of the goal kickers. Just some very choice thoughts, Jamo and Dean, in a moment, because we'll get to the MCG pretty quickly. That game is a big finish coming up there. Docker's just in front of the Pies. Walker has 2 for Adelaide and plenty of singles. Keys, Berry, Thilthorpe, Pedler, Dawson, Rankin and Neil Bullen. And no goals to speak of for Gold Coast, of course, and Dan Rioli with that left leg injury. Just a quick thought or two, Dino and Rod, before we take you to the G.
Just super efficient. 13 to 12 inside 50, 6-2 to 0-2, 60 marks to 36 in total control, Adelaide.
Yeah, absolute domination. They're looking for the plain home ride, Gold Coast, and put this behind them, but they're nowhere near the level today.
I think the scoreline probably is a good one when you want a quick assessment at half-time. I don't know whether you could have added much more than that,
It's
gentlemen.
disappointing. We all came here with high hopes for a cracking game, but hats off to Adelaide. They are playing at an unbelievable level.
Okay, so Crows by 55 points here at halftime. We'll continue to, of course, bring you more from the Adelaide Oval, but because we've got the break here and there's about 4 minutes of playing time at the G, let's get back. Let's take you to that game with our call team at the MCG. Freo lead by a point with 3.5 minutes left.
But Jamie Elliott hugs the ball to his chest. He has 2 so far tonight. The Collingwood leading goal kicker with 46 for the season.
I've seen longer kicks paid in the AFL 9s that we play, Clinchy, that's for sure.
Jamie Elliott will take the benefit of the umpire's call out to the left. Can he seize the moment? We know he's experienced in this circumstance. He comes in, veers out to the right, trying to work it from right to left, and he misses. Scores level. 78 apiece here at the MCGs. He throws his head back. 29 minutes gone in the final term. This is going the journey.
They couldn't play another draw, could they? I think they could. Oh, scores level. Sorry, Clinchy. Too excited down the stretch here. 29 minutes into the fourth quarter. Ryan in the back pocket. Sets it up to the wing. Jackson launching at it. Doesn't take the mark. Side bottom robes the pack. Swings a handball back. Pendlebury swings a handball to the middle. Bolton closing. Impacts the handball. Turnover. Docker's ball. Sarong in the middle. Got to get rid of it. Off to Voss. Tracy's over the top. Loops it to him. Bad bounce. One more handball. Bolton in the pocket. Back feeds a handball. Back to O'Meara. He'll get a free kick. Bolton will get a free kick.
It was there. I was waiting for it.
It'll come back to Shea Bolton. Jack Crisp got him high. 35 out slide angle, and he will take his time. Big kick. Oh. Hand across the face.
Yeah.
Slapped him in the chops after he flicked out the handball. Who put that tackle on Dean in the middle of the ground?
McCreary had 15 tackles so far, and the one he missed was the most important one against Sarong. Like, he just got out of his fingertips to let him get into the forward line there.
This is why they got him in. Shea Bolton, drop punt. He's left. It's a handy point. It's a lead for Freo, but it gives the ball back to the Pies with 90 ticks left on the clock.
Collingwood, they train these scenarios. Nick Dacos brings them back into play into the middle of the ground. Cameron in front. Brennan Cox brought it down. Quick hand pass from Wagner. Got it away to Pat Voss inside 50. Bouncing ball. Frederick caught behind. Dean's hand pass to Josh Dacos. Almost hemmed in. Got a hand pass away to Dean. Here go Collingwood. Quainer to Nick Dacos. Kick is smothered in the end. Young got it down. Hand pass comes back from Swakowski to Young inside 50. Darcy Moore takes the intercepting mark and plays on immediately.
He kicks up to the wing. Chris marks it, flicks out a handball to Nick Dacos. He'll kick from the wing to centre half forward. Coming across O'Driscoll. Big collision. He goes again for the Dockers. And they pile on. The umpire wants it. Wow. The MCG heaves. Yeah. Wow, big contest there. Number of players committing themselves.
Ball up. Centre half forward for Collingwood. Up it goes. Darcy swats it down. Young's over it. He's happy for it to be in there. And we'll get another ball up. Freo by a point. 31.5 into the fourth.
It's everything you train for. September come early. Sean Darcy wins down the tap. Pendlebury down low. Brayshaw puts his head over it with the helmet. Gets a hand pass along the turf. Sarong down low. Sidebottom puts his hand up, so he has to knock it out. Dean comes charging in. It's locked underneath O'Driscoll. And the umpire will ball it up. Under 30 seconds to go.
Did you see how smart they was from the Collingwood players? In, back out. In, back out.
Fremantle by a point. Collingwood at half forward. Darcy down. Pendlebury hand pass forward. Bouncing ball for Schultz. Can't take it. Knocked on by Lipinski. Nick Dacos look away. Hand pass. Elliott dragged down. Myercheck keeps it alive. Hand pass to Schultz. Around his body to the goal mouth. Fremantle there. Brennan Cox and Tracy. Tracy down low takes the mark.
And 50.
Cox is straight into Darcy Moore, who had gone forward.
Yeah, they're not happy with that. The knee late.
And the knee late into the back of Josh Tracy. And this will do us. The Dockers should get out of defence with this 50-metre penalty. And they lead by a point.
Tracy marched up into the middle of the ground. He'll kick for the wing. Brayshaw's out there in his brother's helmet. He takes the mark. These desperate Dockers. They did. And they did. They win by a point. And it's a win that might take them to September.
Wow, what a result at the MCG. The Magpies have dropped 2 in a row, one of the best Dockers wins for a long time, if not in the top draw of their best ever. Fremantle 12 goals 7, 79 over Collingwood 11 goals 12, 78. The Dockers behind for most of the day, but winning by a point, and boy, doesn't that continue their exceptional form of recent times outside of the loss to the Swans. They have been on a roll, the Dockers, and on the live ladder that ensures they move to 48 premiership points, level with the likes of Geelong, Hawthorn and Greater Western Sydney. So with that loss, the Magpies now only have the 2 premiership point advantage over the Brisbane Lions at the top of the ladder. The Dockers by a point at the MCG. Meanwhile here, Quentin Hull and the team at the Adelaide Oval contemplating the Crows' 55-point lead at half-time. So plenty happening on this Sunday of footy on ABC Sport. More to come from the Adelaide Oval, but half-time here, Crows by 55. We'll take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News, good afternoon. I'm William Howard. Counting has finished for today in Tasmania's snap election with an extra seat called for an independent. David O'Byrne has been returned in the southern electorate of Franklin. He's the 4th independent the ABC has called, along with 14 seats for the Liberals, 9 for Labor and 5 for the Greens, with 3 still in doubt. About 3/4 of the total vote has been tallied thus far, with all pre-poll centres now added. Meanwhile, Tasmanian Federal Independent MP Andrew Wilkie has questioned the need for the state snap election given the result, adding it's nearly the same makeup of the previous parliament. The snap election followed a successful Labor no-confidence motion in Liberal Premier Jeremy Rockliff in June, and rather than resign the position as convention would have it, he visited Governor Barbara Baker, who agreed for a fresh election to be held. Mr Wilkie told a special edition of AM it will still take some weeks to fully understand the new makeup of the parliament.
Well, it was an opportunity for a reset, but it appears that we're back where we started, and I think a lot of Tasmanians will be shaking their heads today and asking, what was that all about? I mean, we won't know the final numbers for a couple of weeks because they can't distribute all the preferences until the postals are in.
4 people have been killed in a horror crash in central Queensland earlier today, and 2 men remain in hospital with serious injuries. Anna Hartley reports.
4 people died at the scene after 2 vehicles collided in a crash east of Emerald this morning. Emergency services were called to the Capricorn Highway at Comet around 10:50am. 2 men in their 20s also suffered serious injuries. Since Friday, a total of 10 people have died on Queensland's roads. On Friday in Mackay, 2 men and a woman, all aged 19, were killed in a head-on. Nearby, a man came off his motorcycle and died at Mount Pleasant. On Saturday, a teenage boy was hit by a car and died in the South Burnett region, while a 26-year-old man died in a single-vehicle crash in the Scenic Rim. The Forensic Crash Unit is investigating the incidents.
Police in the United States have charged a man suspected of driving his car into a crowd of people in the city of Los Angeles. A total of 30 people were injured in the incident in East Hollywood, and 7 of them are in a critical condition. Officers say after the crash, the suspect was dragged from his vehicle by bystanders before being beaten and shot. Japanese voters are casting their ballots in a tightly contested upper house election today that could weaken Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's grip on power. Larry Buttrose reports.
Opinion polling suggests the ruling coalition may fall short of the 50 seats needed to retain control of the 248-seat upper house of Japan's parliament in an election where half the seats are being contested. With rising prices and immigration as live issues, polls show smaller opposition parties pushing for tax cuts and increased public spending are set to gain seats. These also include a right-wing party vowing to curb immigration, oppose foreign capital inflows, and reverse gender equality moves.
Australian boxer Tim Tszyu has lost his world title fight against American Sebastian Fundora in Las Vegas. He was knocked down in the opening round of his rematch against the reigning champion and retired at the start of the 8th round. The former world champion Tszyu told Foxtel his taller opponent is too good.
I tried to give it everything, but I just couldn't do it, and victory belongs to Sebastian Fundora, the best 154-pounder on the planet right now. He was just a better man, he's a better man. He's very hard to land.
St Kilda have suffered their 6th straight loss in the AFL, going down to Geelong by 31 points at Cardinia Park. The final score was the Cats 17-11-113 to the Saints 12-10-82. Geelong forward Jeremy Cameron kicked 5 goals in the win. The Roosters have reached the top of the NRLW ladder with a tight 30 points to 26 victory over the Broncos. Olivia Kernick starred with a double as the defending premiers held off a second-half fight back from Brisbane. The Titans won their match at Leichhardt Oval against the West Tigers. Gold Coast have mounted a comeback with 3 quick tries in the second half for a 24-12 point victory. And you're up to date with the very latest ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
You meet the most interesting people on Sunday morning.
Driving through this hot land full of dust and smoke, this little Tommy fella feels like a true blue Aussie bloke.
Join the rest of Australia right here on Sunday morning.
Australia all over, Sunday mornings on ABC Radio. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC
Side
Sport.
pokes inside 50. Walker got a one-handed piece of a mark that he couldn't complete. Rode by Neil Bullen in the pocket and a brilliant snap, hard on the boundary, 30 from goal. Oh, the skill when the players are running towards the boundary and hook the ball across their body. Great goal from Alex Neil-Bullen. That's 4 for the Crows.
Handball's over the top to Taylor. Snaps to a dangerous position. Keys is all on his own. How does that happen? 30 metres out directly in front.
Just lost their way, Gold Coast.
So Keys, what a season he's having. A fan favourite. And he chips this through for another goal. And he lets Matt Andrew know about it. They're into him. They haven't forgotten. Neither of these fans. This is a procession here. And it looks like there's going to be a free kick.
Oh, wow.
It's worked.
Oh, this is a capitulation from Gold Coast. It really is.
And it could blow the Suns out the water. Pedler strolls in and kicks it. The umpire's standing in the way of McAndrew because the Crows are going to want to circle again. This is an absolute reality check.
Jackie Rioli's down behind play.
He can't walk. Good. Yeah, he can't walk. I reckon he's popped his calf.
Oh, so Rioli can't put any weight on his left leg whatsoever. He's got a trainer under either armpit.
Roving was Neil-Bullen. Saligo cleverly knocks it forward. Neil-Bullen got the handball off to Dawson, who strikes the tackle. He can unload from 50. He actually just shifts it. He chipped it from 50. The skipper. It's party time in the first half for Adelaide. They've kicked 9.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Well, there's drama everywhere, either by the closeness of a result or the bizarre blowout nature here. Quentin Hull and the team contemplating Adelaide's 55-point lead at halftime here. The Suns have not kicked a goal. Their first ever goalless opening half and their lowest first half score in their history. Adelaide 9 goals 5-59 over Gold Coast's 4 behinds. It was a 19-point lead at quarter time to the Crows. 55 the lead. Taylor Walker, the only multiple goal kicker in the game. He's got 2 for the Crows. And if you have just joined us before the news, we gave you the closing stages from the MCG, where Fremantle has posted a dramatic 1-point victory over Collingwood. The Dockers 12 goals 7-79 to Collingwood's 11-12 78. So the Pies have dropped 2 in a row. 37 possessions for Caleb Sarong, 6 goals for Pat Voss. Nick Dacos's 43 touches couldn't save the Pies today. Fremantle 12-7-79 to Collingwood 11-12-78. Earlier, not quite the drama at Cardinia Park. Cats too good for the Saints by 31 points. Geelong 17-11-113 to St Kilda's 12-10 82. In the NRL earlier today, the West Tigers defeated the Gold Coast Titans 21-20, and the New Zealand Warriors have just claimed a victory over the Newcastle Knights at Hunter Stadium in Newcastle. The Warriors 20, beating the Knights 15. Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson, your experts. I'm calling with Tom Wilson, with Liz Walsh down on the boundary. Your thoughts very welcome on 0437 774 774. Almost need a little bit of a redirect, gentlemen, because we've got such a one-sided affair here, and we were getting the news from the G. I should mention as well, the injury to Daniel Rioli right on half-time as well. You heard it in the highlights. It looks like a serious one. We wait for further news, but what a sour note to further dent the hopes of the Suns fans on this Sunday. In his 200th game, he's limped off with a bad leg injury.
Yeah, he's been a star for Richmond and then coming to the Gold Coast, but there is just no run. And he's a key contributor in that area, and now for him not to be there too. So I think the latter part of that quarter, it's 52%, 23%, last 10 minutes time in possession to the Gold Coast. So they had it, and they were going wide, and they were holding onto the football, but they weren't going forward. So that was where we were becoming critical of them in the early part of the second. Like, just get it in there, but get it in there with some direction and get it low and get it in with space and penetration. But they were just too slow to even get it in there in that second part of the second quarter.
And they were, and full credit to Adelaide. They're defending the ground really well. And look, it helps when Gold Coast keep kicking it back to them. When Gold Coast going forward, we've harped on it all half, but it's probably the worst I've seen an AFL side this year. Kick it back to the opposition in their forward half. Like, I think Adelaide, you said that had 20-something marks in their back 50. I've never heard of a stat like, Gold Coast forward 50, Adelaide's back 50. That's an unbelievable stat. It's hard to kick it. It's even hard to be in a game and when you're doing that. But look, if you're Gold Coast, you've got to put that half behind you. You got to throw some different things at Adelaide. And you got to just try and win the quarter, because you're a team that's trying to play finals. The worst thing you can do is come out of here with a 90-point loss and have some injuries. So if you're Gold Coast, you put it behind you and you get to work, and you got to tidy up your entries inside 50 and start kicking some goals, obviously.
Speaking of getting to work, hasn't Liz Walsh had a busy first half? Liz, what's the latest from particularly Dan Rioli at halftime?
Yes, that's exactly right. So Dan Rioli has been subbed out of the game. That's a confirmed leg injury from the Gold Coast Suns camp, which means David Swallow has come into the game.
Well, he'll add some grunt in and around the football just to give some help where they have been pretty good. So overall, the actual stats are pretty similar in both the Gold Coast disposals. Adelaide have got 27 more. The rest of it are really close. The marks is the real differential, 60-36. But if you go to that defensive and forward 50, where Adelaide have had 48-19 disposals. So when the Gold Coast have got it in there, Adelaide are all over it, and the marks 21-3, uncontested 35-11. Intercept possessions 21-1. They have smashed the Gold Coast. They just not have been able to deliver the football into their forward 50.
Intercept possessions 21-1.
Yep.
That's an extraordinary stat, Jamo. Tom Wilson with the start of the third term.
Crows leading by 55 points. Gold Coast yet to kick a goal. And we've got Matt Rao quickly wrapped up, so we'll have the umpire throw it up again. Riley O'Brien versus Witts knocks it down towards the bottom of the pack. There was Peatling, who got a good handball out to Laird, kicks it up towards centre half forward, and flying is Hewland. Takes a nice mark over his teammate. And he goes wide out to McAndrew at right half back. These Crows fans, don't forget,
a Big Mac has not been as unpopular since the premiere of Super Size Me. Andrew with the long kick out towards.
Do pickles either, Q.
And another intercept mark for that stat, Jamo. It was taken and delivered to half forward. Phil Thorpe, 60 from goal. Hand passes to Dawson. He's got no pressure on him. Slots a pass to Neil Bullen in the pocket. It's just beyond the paint, though. Out of bounds. Is it?
No,
they've claimed the mark. I thought it was out of bounds on the full. No, Neil Bullen has taken the grab. So, yeah, for a moment I thought the Suns players let that basically play out, because I thought it was going out. But no, Alex Neil Bullen in the left forward pocket opens up the angle. Right foot drop punt continues this demolition. 2 for Alex Neil-Bullen. The scoreboard says probably more than we can. It's 65 to 4. 10-5, 65 to 4 points.
Yeah, it was a good call. It was all uncontested possession of that goal. It was so easy. It all started from a long kick long down the line from the Gold Coast. Max Michelangelo took an uncontested mark. He switches the ball, uncontested play, and then an uncontested mark inside Adelaide's forward 50. Really disappointing. If you're a Gold Coast supporter, they have not shown up. Their contest work's been okay, like you said, Jamo, but their ability to defend Adelaide when Adelaide got ball in hand and not get the ball to ground in the air, Adelaide have just had a field day.
Witts knocks it down from the restart. Rao was tackled but managed to get a ball socket forward towards Lombard, and he's tackled immediately by Cumming, and we'll have a ball up forward to centre wing for the Gold Coast Suns. O'Brien knocks towards Dawson, socket off the deck by Rowell inside the forward 50. Michelangelo went at it hard and was rewarded, taken high by the sub in Swallow, and from centre half back goes to right half back and Laird.
Rory Laird with the grab just beyond defensive 50 at right half back. The 3-time club champion plays on, kicks it to a pack on the wing. Fogarty, he's got that left shoulder heavily strapped again. Had probably his hands taken there. No free kick. Rankin Roves anyway for the Crows. Kicks back to half forward, and there he is. He's a super-sized defender. He kicks back, McAndrew. He outmarked Phil Thorpe, but rolling all the way to the goal mouth. Butterick on his bike to retrieve on the last line. Kicks it wide towards right half back. Curtin spoils Closey. Curtin butters up and wins the ball for the Crows. Rides a tackle. Hand pass out the back to Michelangelo. Taken high by Swallow. No, holding the ball. Free kick to David Swallow.
I think he tried to slip it up. No, that was actually the right arm over the top, was high.
I just think he lifted his arm, which, you know, made it look like he was faking for the free. So the free kick won there by Swallow. Kicks it long down the line. Handball off to Rao, who finds Lombard 30 metres out. On a slight angle to the left. Could this be it?
It's probably their best movement of football from one end of the ground to the other. Clean and open forward line with 2 options.
Ron from Adelaide texts, what a great day. Collingwood lose by a point and a Crows win. He's going a bit of the early Crow. I know there's a long way to go, Ron. Thank
61
you.
points. It would be an almighty comeback. In comes Lombard, the young gun. Kicks for goal and it hits the woodwork. It is not their day. That's normally one that you'd put in the book, but a minus score. They're 5 behinds. Adelaide at 10-5-65. They lead by 10 goals, 4.5 minutes into the third term.
I don't know, Brokes. Were you with me when we did the Port Hawthorn game at the end of gather round? I'm trying to think.
No, I wasn't.
I'm lobbying. If the South Australian clubs want me to come more often, I've done 2 games at the Adelaide Oval this year. Port flogged Hawthorn. It was a non-contest by half-time. And this is the same thing. The hosts are just shutting out the visitors. Still Thorpe takes a mark on the wing.
This is just boys playing.
At the moment it is, yeah.
Ben playing against
slots it to the fog, takes the mark, 60 from goal, right half forward, gets it onto his left boot, deep entry in the Texan direction. He can't take the mark. Keys roving, foraging. Hand passes, half stolen by Anderson. Can't get rid of it. It's at the top of the goal mouth for the Crows. And, for a moment I thought the umpire was going to pay holding the ball on Butterick, who did the old Draper flop. Dare I mention that here? It's tossed in the air. Peatling Roves kick smothered. Ricochets to Anderson. Suns ball. Hand pass to Flanders. Adams had it and lost it. Curtin steals it. Hand passes to Neil-Bullen. He's got 3. Snaps a goal from the top of the goal mouth. Call it off. This is a non-contest. 11-5, 71 to 5 points. Alex Neil-Bullen with a 3rd goal. And he's kicked 2 in this quarter already.
Just the pressure, I think it is, isn't it? Like, the Gold Coast are a seriously good side, but Adelaide have really just put them to the sword, just around the pressure in their forward 50. And again, we spoke pre-game about how good Adelaide are. If they intercept and win the football, you are in a world of pain because they will destroy you going back the other way. So in a couple of areas of the game, they have been all over the Gold Coast and they haven't been able to get any run. And clearly, just when you go inside 53 times and you kick 2, like the percentage is exceptionally high in the first 2 and a bit quarters.
Witts knocks it down towards Anderson, who's immediately wrapped up there by Saligo, wearing him like a glove.
What's happening with that Magpies Dockers game? Collingwood went inside 50, 63 times to 40. I mean, it's a huge win by Fred. That's just one stat alone.
Miller has socketed it forward. Walker, one step to the right, next to the left. Kicked it towards Rankin, who's been pushed in the back. The former Sun's going to have a set shot from 50 metres out directly in front.
That Walker just wins that one-on-one, dodges and weaves, finds time, lays up a beautiful kick so Rankin at least have a run and jump at it, and the Gold Coast defender gave away a free kick. But this is like a mercy rule game, really, isn't it? The difference in class today is like top versus bottom. It's quite concerning that this Gold Coast team is playing for a top 4 spot.
Is he going to run around the man on the mark here? He's likely to do something a little...
Larry?
No, not
is that
Larry.
the word?
I just think it's...
Kicks from 50 metres to Isaac Rankin. It's a good connection, but it's just the way to the right-hand side. Minus score. Adelaide 11-6, 72. Gold Coast Suns are just 5 behinds. We're 8 minutes into the third term for ABC Sport.
Cats by 31 and the Dockers by a point. If you've just joined us, Fremantle with a big win at the MCG. Jeffrey from the pocket kicks long to the wing for the Suns. Which couldn't mark. Rode by Murray of the Crows. Kicks it back into attack. It pitches in front of Rankin. He reads it out the back and dribbles across the face for a point.
Keys almost could have got his foot to it, but I think he was trying to allow it to go through, but just a little hard.
Crows by 68.
Ainsworth from left half back kicks a long high ball looking for Reid. Knocked down, almost thrown away there by Humphrey. Out towards Lombard, who runs it out over the boundary line near their bench. So 9 minutes gone in this third quarter. Gold Coast trailing by 68 points. A bit like that Port Swans game last year. Just an absolute anomaly. Massive 100-point margin in that one. Plus, boundary throw in. Goes forward for Adelaide. Saligo was running back, but Ainsworth does well. Gets it back to Ewan, who's under pressure from Rankin. Swung in the 360, got the tackle away. Then a Crows player was just pulled off the footy. That was Pedler by Jeffrey, so he wins the free kick at right half forward. He handballs straight away to Dawson. He takes one step, kicks towards goal, a bit nonchalant. Away to the right-hand side. The Crows are peppering. Another behind, though, 11-8, 74. Gold Coast 5 behinds, almost 10 minutes gone in the third term at Adelaide Oval.
He's Tom Wilson. I'm Quentin Hull, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan and Liz Walsh, your company as well. Good inbound, right down the middle. Marked by Humphrey, centre half back. He kicks to centre half forward, and it's marked by Reid. That should be 50 against Murray. Yep, it is. Well, I'm seeing it from the neutral eye, and now we're getting the Adelaide voices come through the microphone.
Well, I think Reid knew. He felt that he played on 2, and he wanted to handball.
He takes a step there.
And then he goes, I'm going to kick it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Like, he definitely played on, but was it enough for Murray to,
move off the mark?
And, but
well, I don't think he retreated. He hadn't retreated to the mark.
True.
That's the point. So this will be Gold Coast's first goal. Ethan Reid has been marched to the goal mouth. And finally, the Suns, at the 10-minute mark of the third term, kick their first goal. And I've got my own voice echoing in my head from last week at Carrara. Collingwood was 15 minutes third quarter before they kicked a goal against the Suns. Here it's 10 minutes third quarter for the Suns to kick a goal. 11-8, 74 to 1-5-11. 63 points, the margin to the Crows.
Well, they have to change something, and they did. And you've seen on a couple of occasions, they've just gone from one end of the ground to the other, haven't they? Just really, that's what we've known, and we saw Gold Coast do in the first half last week. But really, this quarter, it's the only time we've seen them just take the game on.
Yeah, it was a beautiful kick kick out, I think, straight down the middle. It was their best passage to play. Caught Adelaide napping a little bit defensively, but a bit unlucky by Murray, but I thought the 50 was there just looking at the replay.
We had an update on the meatballs.
Our friend from Hobart, 0437 774 774 to get in touch. Jamo's getting distracted, Tom. He's giving us stats from the other game and thinking about meatballs.
Look, this is a 63-point game, but this happens every week. Rucker up in the middle from the restart, handballed forward. Flanders runs onto it, kicks from 50 metres out. It's an open goal square. Could we have back-to-back goals? No, just bounced away to the left. That flying shot on goal. So Gold Coast go to 1-6-12, Adelaide 11-8-74. 62-point margin, 12 minutes gone, third term.
Miller with a measured kick in. And Rankin takes that uncontested at right half back. Again, even there's a lack of pressure from the Suns. Rankin's kicks a turnover though. Jepson, the first gamer, Ben Jepson, takes the mark just forward of the wing. Blue boots wearing number 44. Right foot kick. Deep into attack for the Suns. Knuckled away from the pack. Ricochets out to about the 50 arc. Rowell first to meet it for Gold Coast. Hand passes to Fiorini. Hands it to Jepson. 60 from goal. Kicks it across the face of the arc. Hewland takes the grab. Late attention from Walker. No 50 though. And Bodie Hewland is, well, pretty much between bullseye and 50 arc. Hewland with a deep entry for the Suns to the pocket. Knuckled away by Laird and out of play for a boundary throw-in in the right forward pocket for Gold Coast. It's Adelaide 11 goals 8-74 to Gold Coast 1-6-12 Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
So boundary throw-in in front of the famous scoreboard here at Adelaide Oval. Deep inside Gold Coast 50. Thilthorpe knocks it down to Keys. Gets a handball off to Berry. Quick kick towards Saligo, who gathers on the bounce, takes a bounce. Almost hunted down by Rao. Gets it to Dawson to Walker. Back to Dawson at centre wing. Snaps around the body. Finds a teammate. That was clever. Handballing to Rankin, who runs to 60 metres out. Lowers the eyes and finds Dan Curtin 45 metres out directly in front.
Go back, have a shot. Just take your time.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? Adelaide are in full offensive mode. Rankin lowers his eyes and hits a forward 15 metres ahead of him. Instead of having the long shot and the spectacular goal, does the team thing, hits his forward. Great team footy by Adelaide. That's when they're at their best.
The Gold Coast were winning all the stats in this quarter except for the tackles, actually, up until this particular point. Clearly, the scoreboard miles off.
Been a revelation this year. Dan Curtin lining up for goal number 10 of the season. Just another one away to the right for the Crows, who've been a little bit errant in front of goal so far. They're 11-9-75. Gold Coast 1-6-12. Getting up to the halfway mark of the third quarter. Liz Walsh.
Yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick update on the two injured players subbed out of the game. Mitch Hinge has made his way to the bench. He's still looking really ginger. No Daniel Rioli, though, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, for hip injury for Hinge and the left leg for Rioli, the interest there. So the Hinge injury was a bit earlier. So he's obviously been washed up and into the civvies. Liz, here's a 50-metre penalty going against Laird, who'd stepped beyond the mark. Did not stand, did not REM.
They're hot on that.
Flanders with the 50-metre penalty. Plays on with a hand pass to Fiorini, who's chipped a half forward, was semi-smothered off the boot. It wasn't a great kick. Players pile in about 60 from the Suns' goal. Rao trying to extricate himself. Can't under the tackle of Peatling. So it will be tossed in the air. Left half forward for the Suns, right half back for the Crows. Reid beats Thilthorpe with the tap down to Fiorini. Hands from Closey to Anderson. Anderson back to Closey on the boundary. Hands it back infield to Fiorini with some space. 55 out. Driving kick to the goal mouth. Rowed by Dave Swallow of the Suns. Hands it to Wilder. He's tackled. Hand passes to the pocket. Long. Taps it to Jepson. Jepson hands it out the back to King. Has a slip. Gets a hand pass to Long near the boundary line. In and away on Neil Bullen. Hand passes back to 50 where Butterick's there. He gets boundary side. Has a long shot on goal. Curtin whacks it through for a point. Doing it at both ends, Dan Curtin. Adelaide 11-9-75. Gold Coast 1-7-13.
Just think it's important too, with the margin as it is at the moment, 62 points. Adelaide have just been relentless defensively.
Worrell at full back. Long kick. Fisted away there by Adams in front of Walker. Off to Powell. Kicks inside the forward 50. That's better. Much better to Ainsworth, who marks probably 45 metres out, just away to the left. Handball's off. Jeffrey unloads from 50, makes good connection. Is the direction there? The connection and the direction. Another goal to the Suns. They're second for the game and the quarter. 2-7-19. Adelaide 11-9-75. 16 and a half minutes gone in this third term.
Well, better, Jamo. You called it. They are winning a lot of their stats, a lot of the stats this quarter, and they're starting to hit the scoreboard. I mean, Adelaide have had a couple of errant shots, 2 goals for, but Gold Coast better, getting some turnover, keeping the ball in their forward up, lowering their eyes and changing angles going inside 50. They look a lot better, but Adelaide's still obviously the dominant side. But if they can win the quarter and take on the last quarter and win that and win the second half, it's something for Damien Hardwick and his men.
Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson, your experts. And a really good roll-up for a Suns away game, dare I say that. And it shows just how up and about the Crows mob are. We know they're a big lot, but they're not going to miss this opportunity to come to a home game, having one of their best seasons of recent times. And boy, they've been good today. Centre bounce, Rao wins the stoppage under the big man. Gets onto his left boot. Kicks the Suns into attack. A bouncing ball about 40 from goal is met by Murray brilliantly of the Crows. Hand pass is not great though. Didn't find a teammate. Anderson wins it. Rides a tackle. Hands to Fiorini. Rides a tackle. Hands it away. Play on, says the up. Swallow picks it up. 30 from goal. Hands to Flanders out the back. Hands it on to Powell. 40 from goal. All under pressure. Hand pass to Flanders. Hand pass to Rao. Rao's kick across the arc of 50, gathered by Butterick. Suns are pressured at every step. Butterick gets on his left and kicks deep, and it's pushed through for a point by the Flying Keen. Crows by 55, Liz Walsh.
Concern for Sam Berry down here, who's just been hit quite high in a marking contest. He's being taken off the ground now. The Crows doctor has run out and ordered him off the ground, so he'll be given an HIA. No doubt on the bench here. I'll keep an eye on it.
I think it was a bit of friendly fire too with Nick Murray. Yeah. I don't think I'd want to run into Nick Murray either.
Just his elbow. They were both looking to tackle Anderson there. So the margin's 55 points. Gold Coast on top in this last 5 to 10 minutes. They've got the margin back to 55 points. Got the run of play. Coming out of defence is Dawson. And a good intercept mark there from Adams over the top of Fogarty. So he's got it right in front of the Crows bench. Recruited from Glenelg. Pumps it inside the forward 50. Flying at that one was Reid. Waiting at the front of the pack was Neil Bullen. He's tackled. Did the one handball. Caught his own. He's been picked up and tackled again. Somehow got the quick kick away. Handballed over the top from Saligo towards Keatling. He was immediately wrapped up. And we'll have a ball up at left half forward for Gold Coast, who have lifted in this contest in recent times.
The pressure's good, isn't it, too? They're playing their footy in their forward half.
Ruckman go at it. No clean tap, but Dawson Rose for the Crows. Hands it to Neil Bullen. Clearing kick from right half back towards the wing. Andrews in front of Walker. And he takes the grab. Mac Andrew with an infield chip. Flanders takes the grab, edge of the centre square. Switches all the way to the outer side. Butterick takes the grab, but he's only just forward of the half-back flank. Infield on the 45 to the bullseye for Anderson. Marks, kicks it to Hewland. Hewland marks forward of the wing, hands it to Butterick. Runs to 70, right half forward. Butterick's kick to the pocket. Leading Walter, can't take the mark. Ground level, Worrell foraging for the Crows, can't really pick up. Ball on the deck, still to be won. Miller is not far away. There's too many around him. And once again, we will see the umpire come in and toss the ball in the air. Crows by 55 points midway through this third term. For those just joining us at the Adelaide Oval, welcome along. Quentin Hull and the team here. It's a one-sided affair. Adelaide lead by 55 points. The Suns didn't kick a goal in the first half. It's the Crows 11-9-75 to Gold Coast 2-8-20. But that being said, now we've got a team with a predominantly red strip kicking a goal from that pocket, and the Crows players are saying it was touched. So that looks like a goal to the Suns. Flanders roving the pack.
Keane
saying it was touched. It's not quite a Crows kick on goal, which is going awry, but that's that geography where you don't want any muck-ups with the scoring. Down to Liz on the boundary.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Crows doctor has reviewed vision here of that Berry-Murray clash. So they've taken Berry straight down into the rooms, and we haven't seen him emerge yet, but so I'll keep an eye on that one.
Thanks, Liz. Adelaide 11-9-75. Gold Coast 3 goals, 8-26. It was the Crows by 19 points at quarter time, 55 at half time. Suns didn't kick their first goal until 11 minutes into this third term. And the other news, Mitch Hinge off with a hip injury. Subbed in is Chase Jones, but probably, with no disrespect to Mitch Hinge, the bigger news, 200 gamer and gun Suns recruit Dan Rioli limping from the ground with a left leg injury in the first half.
And they're still reviewing here at the moment. Mark Keane, a defender for Adelaide, is claiming that he's touched, and
it looks like he did.
So everyone's lined up in their positions, umpire in the middle of the ground.
It's been an interesting call.
Often when they've come all this way to set up, they've got the 6-6-6 going on.
Do you reckon they take extra time at this joint when it comes to score reviews?
Too long. I'm in agreement.
It's that same spot, isn't it?
Get it right. And again, get it right. I don't mind it, but they do take too long. No, it's a goal.
Well, I think if the margin was a bit closer, that would be quite controversial.
Well, if the Gold Coast has a pulse, the last 10 minutes have been really good. They're starting to show a bit of fight.
Back to 49 points. O'Brien knocks it down to Saligo. Handballs to Peatling, who chucks it on his left foot up towards centre half forward. In the back of Fogarty was Adams, but he got hands to it. He was ridden in the back as well. Strong handball from the Gold Coast to Powell. Handballs it off to Jepson, who's got some run. He kicks down the line, looking for a teammate in Swallow, who is the sub, and he's opposing 24. Josh Worrell knocks it out over the boundary. We'll have a throw in right half forward for the Suns. They trail by 49 points.
You can get in touch on 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from.
Made the game interesting too. 4 behinds at half time, and in this quarter alone, the Gold Coast kicked 3 goal 4.
Peatling with the clearance for the Crows. Rush kick from left half back to the wing. Walker the target, spoiled away. Jeffrey Rose for Gold Coast. Hand pass, not great. He was hoping for Powell. Hassled off it by Neil Bullen. But Noble swoops in to win the loose football for the Suns. Chips wide to the wing. The ball bounces away from Anderson. Jones picks up for the Crows. Hand passes to Saligo. Gets on his left boot. Turns over his kick. He's kicking to half forward, but Butterick read it well and marks for the Suns. Quickly kicks infield. Jeffrey takes the grab just forward of centre half back. Chips, well, I don't know what that created. Lombard's got it anyway. And he kicks to half forward. Swallow takes the mark. 60 from goal. Long way out for the veteran. Dave Swallow with a deep entry. King to the front of the pack. Got a hand, can't mark. Murray with the rope for the Crows. Hands to Worrell. Hands to Michael Annie, who kicks it out in the full. That's a mistake. And this is getting a little flabby, gentlemen. Dare I say that?
Yeah, Adelaide, yep, it's a good call. I was just about to call both teams a little bit sloppy, but more so Adelaide just dropped off the ball a little bit. They need to reset because the last thing they want to do is Gold Coast kick 5 or 6 in a row and get it back to 30 points or something and show something. But because Adelaide have been so dominant.
So Ben Ainsworth is going to take the kick. He runs in field and it's a booming right foot drop punt from 40. That's 4 goals in a row for the Suns. Is the tide turning here? Adelaide 11-9-75. Gold Coast 4 goals, 8-34. So what was a 69-point lead at its max, it's now been trimmed down to 43.
Well, I think Nick would... Matthew Nicks, that is, would be really disappointed with the last 10 minutes in this quarter. Like, you have a look at, like, the marks have swung significantly back. Gold Coast 24-12 this quarter, 50-28 uncontested, 13-7 inside 50. So it's actually been a 10-minute, 12-minute block.
Been good.
Of the Gold Coast being really good, and probably what we expected was going to take place at the start of the game, but they just got blown away in the first half.
Yeah, and you can sense the crowd, a little bit of urgency from Adelaide. Last thing you want to do is get this to 30, 35 points. We know 5 goals in modern football in the AFL is not that much these days.
7 of the last 8 scores going the way of the Gold Coast Suns. 4 of the last 4 goals as well. So back to a 43-point margin. Can they get into sniff territory? That will be the question. Knocked down by Riley O'Brien towards Keys. He's in the midfield. Laird tries to sock it off the ground. Ends up in the hands of Anderson, who handball back to Flanders, who was taken high, says the umpire. Tackle just slipped up on his neck, and he'll have the free kick at centre-half back for Gold Coast.
That's what they're doing really well. They're starting to win a lot of the one-on-ones and get their game going and build the ball with the football, and their efficiency's a lot better.
Dean Brogan with you on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Flare wide kick to Butterick, who plays on from right half back, kicks a long ball, coming, punches it away from the pack. Good punch, going 20 to the wing. Keys with a hand pass, gets it on to Taylor. Taylor's kick to half forward. Fogarty gets a free kick against Andrew. Fogarty plays on quickly, kicks to the pocket, down Rankin's throat. Beautiful pass. Rankin takes the chest mark. Tough angle, 35 from goal, left forward pocket.
We talk about Walker's Phil kicking earlier, Jamo. I'll tell you, this bloke's not far behind him, if not as good. That's the difference with Adelaide's forward line. Tall forwards, they can kick the ball really well up the ground.
Already has one goal against his old team, Isaac Rankin, so he's now going 101 in a career which started with 48 games at Carrara. Opens up the angle with the right foot snap, punt. Oh, he's a good footballer, isn't he? Isaac Rankin makes it look easy. 2 for the number 23. And the Crows just get that little snap to the Suns' run. Adelaide back out by 49 at 12-9-81 to Gold Coast 4-8-32. So Rankin with those 2 today, that's now 25 for the season. He kicked 29 last year, so you'd think he's going to go past that.
Yeah, look, I mean, their goal scores have been exceptional too, and we've still got, 5 rounds to go. Just the ability, the spread in which they've been able to do it, and we've got, how many goals? 12, and there's got 8 goal scorers at the moment too, a couple with multiples, but the delivery was exceptional, and Rankin is an absolute superstar and scintillating, and can strum a guitar too, Q.
Really?
Oh, incredibly well.
Acoustic or electric?
Acoustic.
Okay. I suppose you could play both, but you know what I'm saying, which is the proficient one.
And sings.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Some decent vocal cords. Back in the middle of the ground, Witts knocks it down to Humphrey, who bursts through the middle, runs to centre-half forward. He kicks, it's a tumbling ball. Poor option, dropped by Keane though. He could pay. Lands in the lap of King, and he kicks the goal. Okay. Well, it was a bad option from Humphrey, but the mark dropped at the top of the goal square from Keane, and King, who's hardly had an impact this game, gets his first. Gold Coast 5-8-38, Adelaide 12-9-81.
Isn't it funny in a week where they're going to play a mark that he took at that end over and over and over again before next week's showdown, that he's absolutely had a mare there. Poor old Mark Keane. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Still no sight of Sam Berry, guys. He's down in the change rooms having a concussion check. So the Crows up here are down to 3 on the bench.
I think Mark Keane can give you something like that almost every week.
He does, doesn't he? He does.
And then when he talks, you can't understand the Irishman either too, by the way. But he's been a tremendous acquisition for Adelaide too. Coming up, 49th game tonight. So from the Irishman, 50th next week, but can turn something simple into a bit of a mare, Tom.
Centre bounce. Anderson swoops on it, one-handed gather, runs to the defensive side of the bullseye, hand passes to the edge of the centre square for Butterick, kicks wide to the half-forward flank over the head of Long, who had coming for company, and the ball rolls beyond that pair for a boundary throw-in, left half-back for Adelaide, right half-forward for Gold Coast. Freo by a point at the G earlier today. Geelong by 31 as well. Here it's been one-sided. Adelaide lead by 43 points, although the Suns are having a good term here. Humphreys underneath the throw-in, immediately tackled by Taylor, tossed in the air again. Witts taps down to Rowell, quickly to his boot, kicks it inside 50, but straight to Millerer, who takes an uncontested mark in the corridor for the Crows. 30 from the goal, he's defending.
So Millerer goes short to Taylor. The bright pink boots on today. And a player on the mark has been pinged. I'm sure he really did too much. And he's got his hands over his face in total disappointment. That was Anderson. Interesting call. But Taylor gets the 50-metre penalty. Goes to Saligo. He's in the centre square. So some tempo footy here for the Crows while they build up out wide to Millerer. Outer side of the ground. Centre wing. Now he goes inside the forward. 50 for Dawson! He almost took a hanger earlier. Dropped another one there. Good pressure from Neil Bullen. Over the top of the footy. At left half forward. Trying to win the free. He gets it. holding the ball against Buttering. And he'll have a shot in the paint of the 50. True left half forward flank for the Crows.
Well, he's ducked his head. He's come back in. He's picked it up. Really held onto the football. So he probably had options available too. Alex Neil-Bullen's had a tremendous night.
Have to be close to best on ground so far.
Brogues, do you want the votes tonight? We'll call it out early.
I was just about to say I don't want to influence those votes. Neil-Bullen doesn't go for goal. He just tries to set this up towards Fogarty. Punched away by Hewlin. Handballed off to Curtin. Curtin at the front. And that's definitely curtains now for Gold Coast. They rallied in this quarter, but Adelaide have fought back. Curtin kicks the goal on his left. Adelaide 13-9-87. Gold Coast 5-8-38. 32 minutes gone. Third term for ABC Sport.
I think he contemplated almost kicking it over his shoulder or over his head then. The big ruckman, Riley O'Brien.
I was just about to say, Jamo, what about the hands from big Rob O'Brien to Curtin? But that, again, just too easy. Way too easy for Adelaide. Look, Gold Coast had a pretty good quarter, as we know, as we've called, but that was just so easy. It was a little drop kick in by Neil-Bullen, and it dropped and looked uncontested. Big ruckman swoops on it, handball straight to Curtin, easy goal. Like, it's just too easy.
Use those analogies, Dean, about the Suns in their 16th season and big boy month, trying to grow up, and it's such a 16-year-old's kind of week to week. One moment they thrill you with what they did against Collingwood, and the next minute you think, really, are they learning anything? It's been so immature today, the Suns. It just has not been a good performance at all. From the stoppage, another vice-like Crows tackle. Keeps the ball in the congestion.
Riley O'Brien too. Hit-outs against Wits. We spoke about the ability. 30-24 for the game. Hit-outs to advantage. Riley O'Brien 11-5.
Yeah, O'Brien smashed Anderson there, Jamo, and makes the tap down. Saligo under pressure. Hand passes to Dawson to half back. Creates space with a hand pass to Cumming. Toe poker taken by Taylor immediately. Dishes the hand pass to the wing to Neil-Bullen. Hands it to Jones. Hands it to Walker. Between wing and half forward. Left foot entry. Oh, it's a miss hit from Tex. He's kicked it off the side of his left boot. Out of bounds on the full.
Singing his praises of his field kicking. How often would you see that, Jamo, from Tex Walker?
Well, I saw Scotty Scheffler do that in the Open yesterday.
Yeah, well, he's four in front going in tonight, isn't he?
It happens to the best.
That's in 295 games. That has to be his worst ever kick, I reckon.
And he had time too.
He did. He's so wonderful on his left foot going inside forward 50. Back into the action, and Gold Coast from that free kick turned it over in the middle of the ground. Neil-Bullen, he's been good. Handballs to Keys, but Keys was under pressure. Handballed it straight to Long. Back to Noble at centre half back. The switch is on to Hewlin. He can mark, runs towards the logo, members side of the ground. Chips it over the top. God, they love Dan Curtin here, and you know why. He works so hard, the young gun. Gets across in front of Ainsworth and fists it out over the boundary line just in front of the Crows bench. Let's go to Liz Walsh, who's there.
More good news for the Crows down here. Sam Berry's come back out. He actually looks fine and should be right to head back on soon.
And repeating a hip injury for Mitch Hinge and a leg injury for Dan Rioli. The two subs, Jones and Swallow, are into the game. Boundary throw in. Witts takes clean possession. 70 from goal for the Suns. Kicks it inside 50. Dave Swallow's going to get a free kick against Michael Lanny. And with this game being pretty flat, and I've got sort of a new audience with a couple of non-regular call team members. You know what my nickname is for David Swallow? Jamo?
No, go ahead.
It's the Kiwi cover band of In Excess, the original song. Here he is from 40 metres out. Dave Swallow kicks a goal on three-quarter time.
It's missed. He missed just to the left.
Did he miss it?
Yep.
Too busy telling gags. Concentrate on calling the footy. A miss from Dave Swallow. Adelaide 13-9-87 to Gold Coast 5-9-39. It looked like a good kick off the boot.
I thought he kicked it as well. So you're
thanks,
not alone
Dean.
there.
See,
but I was listening to your
at least someone's sort of pitching in here. So Adelaide 19 points at front at quarter time, 55 at half time, and clearly the best term of the game from the Gold Coast Suns. They kicked 5 goals, 5 make it to Adelaide's Four goals for. 13-9-87 to 5-9-39. And the triumvirate today, 2 to Walker, 1 to Thilthorpe, yet to have a goal from the Fog, but it's 3 to Neil Bullen, 2 to Rankin, and as mentioned, 2 to Walker. Singles for Keys, Berry, Curtin, Thilthorpe, Pedlar and Dawson. While for the Suns, all 5 goals coming in that quarter are all singles. Flanders, Ainsworth, Reid, King and Jeffrey. Bless you. Paul having a sneezing attack in the back. I know that would have bled through the microphone as well. So Jamo's thinking about meatballs and everything else.
I am thinking a little bit about what I'm going to have for supper when I finish up here too.
Now let's do housekeeping. Earlier at the MCG, it was a much better game than this one. It was one of the best games of the year. Fremantle by a point over Collingwood. 12-7, 79 to the Magpies, 11-12, 78. 6 goals for Pat Voss, 37 possessions for Caleb Sarong. Nick Dacos had 43 should I say, but the Pies beaten back-to-back weeks. Fremantle by a point, and meanwhile 5 goals for Jeremy Cameron as Geelong beat St Kilda by 31 points. In the NRL today, 2 cracking games there. The Tigers with a late field goal to Adam Dewey beat the Titans 21-20. And the New Zealand Warriors scored a try basically on full time. Newcastle was leading 15-14. And then young Leka Halasima scored a try for the Warriors and they got home 20 points to 15. It's Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Every day, all around Australia, extraordinary people create moments that inspire. See them, hear them. All you have to do is nominate them at australianoftheyear.org.au.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Ricochets to Anderson, Suns ball, hand pass to Flanders. Oh, Adams had it and lost it. Curtin steals it, hand passes to Neil Bullen, he's got 3. Snaps a goal from the top of the goal mouth. Call it off. This is a non-contest. 11-5, 71 to 5 points. Marked by Humphrey, centre-half back. He kicks to centre-half forward, and it's marked by Reid. That should be 50 against Murray. Yep, it is. So this will be Gold Coast's first goal. Ethan Reid has been marched to the goal mouth. And finally, the Suns, at the 10-minute mark of the third term, kick their first goal.
Kicks inside the forward 50. That's better. Much better to Ainsworth, who marks probably 45 metres out, just away to the left. Handball's off. Jeffrey unloads from 50, makes good connection. Is the direction there? The connection and the direction.
Got a hand, can't mark. Murray with the row for the Crows. Hands to Worrell, hands to Michael Annie, who kicks it out in the full. That's a mistake. So Ben Ainsworth is going to take the kick. He runs in field, and it's a booming right foot drop punt from 40. That's 4 goals in a row for the Suns. Is the tide turning here?
Back in the middle of the ground, Witts knocks it down to Humphrey, who bursts through the middle, runs to centre-half forward, he kicks, it's a tumbling ball. Poor option, dropped by Keane though, he could pay, lands in the lap of King and he kicks the goal. Okay, Neil Bullen doesn't go for goal, he just tries to set this up towards Fogarty, punched away by Ewell and handballed off to Curtin. Curtin at the front! And that's definitely Curtin's now for Gold Coast. They rallied in this quarter, but Adelaide have fought back.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Ultra impressive from the Adelaide Crows in the round 19 closer. Welcome back to the Adelaide Oval. Quentin Hull and the team at three-quarter time with the huddles taking place beneath us, and Adelaide leading by 48 points at 13-9-87 to Gold Coast's 5-9-39. You can get in touch on the SMS 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. That's 0437 774 774. Indulge a moment, Jamo. I've got there you go. Earlier in the game, those that weren't with us, Rod was taken by a texter from Hobart talking about cooking meatballs. We've now been sent a photo of the finished product.
That looks super impressive.
So there's spaghetti underneath, there's cheese on top of the meatballs, and there's some broccoli and carrots and beans on the side as well. And unfortunately, Dean and Jamo, we're going down that path because for those that weren't with us, How did Adelaide break the back of this game early on?
Well, it was Gold Coast efficiency going forward was horrible. They allowed Adelaide to mark everything going in. They couldn't score. The rest of their game was okay. Then it fell away. But look, start of the third quarter was all Adelaide. But Gold Coast, to their credit, they rolled up the sleeves and got to work and won the quarter. Now, can they win another quarter and go home with something to take into next week?
Here's Tom Wilson.
Knocked down by O'Brien, and he soccers it off the deck, closely off the wing in front of Curtin. Gets the handball to Anderson, running towards the interchange gates. He gets to the big ruckman in Witts, who kicks one off the side of his boot. And Cummings able to fist that away from Fiorini, and we'll have a throw in right half forward for the Suns, who trail by 48 points.
Saligo with 20, Neil Bullen 20, Worrell and Dawson 17 leading the way for the Crows. 23 for Rowell, 23 for Anderson, 21 for Flanders and 20 for Fiorini.
Jared Witts is 210 centimetres. I wonder how big his feet are.
Curtin grabs it from the ruck contest, and it's like a torpedo. It's just spiralling forward. Thilthorpe gets McAndrew, and Andrew had the back position, so Thilthorpe was just holding his arm, and at right half back, Andrew gets the free.
I'm doing bad jokes, and he's starting to talk about the size of feet of ruckman.
Just wait till he pulls out the footy record.
Powell receives the ball, runs through half back, has a bounce, gets
Pocket
the Suns
profile
to the wing, kicks it to the big-footed Witts. Marks, hand passes to Rowell. Rowell's kick inside 50's marked by Long. 45 from goal, despite the late arriving attention of Zach Taylor.
Super brave.
He's got white footy boots on too, Jared Witts, so they really do stand out. You want to borrow him a binoculars for a moment,
I'm
Jamo?
going to say like 16 or something like that.
Have to be at least 15, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ben Long, meanwhile, has his eyes on Gold Coast's sixth goal. No angle to speak of. Only 2 steps from 50. Decent purchase, but not enough. On the line, fisted through for no score. It's gone other side of the point. Stick for a boundary throw-in in the right forward pocket for the Suns.
Quite nonchalant, that approach there from Ben Long. So we'll have a boundary throw-in right next to the behind post. It's allowed to hit the ground, and Peatling's head was ripped off there by Rowell. That would have hurt, I'd say.
Dan Worrell's just sort of flying the flag a little. Sorry, Josh Worrell.
Dan Worrell could be playing for England come the Ashes, the former South Australian bowler.
I get to the Adelaide Oval and my Worrells cross wires for a moment, Tom.
Certainly so. So the kick out of defence was touched. Rowell grabbed it and Berry back on the ground, which is good to see after that HIA. Throws him to the turf, and we'll have a ball up just on the right corner of that centre square. Adelaide lead by 48 points.
No change from the three-quarter time score from the tap down. Peatling roves for Adelaide near the boundary. His left foot kicks out of bounds on the full. So if you weren't with us earlier on, Mac Andrews, the pantomime villain here, after his carry on at the end of the very close game at Carrara earlier this year. That's why there are hoots in the crowd as he's closest to receive this inbound free kick. Andrew with his right boot kicks Gold Coast to attacking 50. 2-on-2 contest. Murray the spoil. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Where's that umpire come from? Near the boundary. Who's it going to?
Gold Coast.
Free kick to Anderson. 55 from goal. That's not the required. The short pass to Fiorini. Oh my God. That's been paid a mark.
That's gone 8 metres. 8 metres, I reckon.
That's the sound of me biting my tongue.
But still, Adelaide, they're just not quite where they were in the first half. That man would have been picked up by the Adelaide defender. They're just a little bit sloppy, running back to defend for the high ball, and Gold Coast, even though it didn't go 15 metres, the concept of the short inside 50 was good.
Marks paid. Fiorini with a shot on goal, slide angle right. Man on the mark, 45 from goal. Left foot strike is a hook the moment it left the stick. Out of bounds on the full.
Footy gods?
All that stuff. Karma.
Yep.
Still haven't had a score in 4 minutes of the final term. It's Adelaide 13-9-87 to Gold Coast 5-9-39. I'm just thinking of our listeners who have spent the last 3 hours at the MCG with the scintillating best of football to come here for this sloppy Sunday finisher.
Well, it's almost going back about 10 years when the Gold Coast entered the comp.
Yeah,
you know,
it feels like that. I was there. I can tell you, Jamo, this is almost as bad as that. When you just switch off at three-quarter time and you'd either count stats for Gary Ablett Jr. or try and look for little positives of a developing team. This is a club that won Friday night footy last week, but has not turned up to back up at all.
Tuke Miller out, miss him terribly. Daniel Rioli, he's also out. Big couple of holes.
Yep, it's going to be interesting in the run home. They didn't show up in this first half where, speaking of scintillating, Adelaide were scintillating and showed their premiership credentials. O'Brien gets the free, goes inside the forward 50. Roving is Noble, under pressure from Keys. He lays a tackle. You've got to love his effort. Goes in for a third time and holds it in, so there's a ball up for the Crows deep inside their forward 50.
Well, you know what that does? Keys, by going 100 miles an hour at that player and trying to lock the ball in, gives them a stoppage 15 metres out from goal. It's not what we see from Gold Coast down the other end today.
O'Brien taps infield, but Noble roves for the Suns, hands it back towards the boundary line, and it's seen over by Fiorini.
I'd like to see Riley Thilthorpe actually get up at it at the moment. I think he's trying to outbody Mac Andrew, and that's not his go. He needs to just time his run, get up at the footy.
Throw in. O'Brien taps to the front of the pack. Curtin roves. He's near the pocket. Centering kick is smothered by Rowell. He smothered it so well he was able to control the ricochet. Kicks the Suns out of danger towards the wing. On the head of the pack, ricochets roved by Humphrey. Hand passes infield on the head of Long. He had to wait. He got it. Get tackled by Michael Annie. His hand pass on the sling is turned over. Cumming takes it for the Crows just shy of halfway. Hands it to Miller. Hands on to Michael Annie, to Worrell holding the ball. Crows turn it over. Lombard plays on quickly for the Suns. From the wing, he kicks to half forward. King marks 60 from goal. Ben King kicks to the advantage side of Humphrey in the pocket. Couldn't mark. Plenty of Crows at the Rove. Michael Annie with the hand pass back to Cumming near the point post.
Kicks it out towards left half back. Flying is Curtin over the top. He's been so good at this all year. He's marking around the ground.
How good's this kick going to be?
Just a special play. Oh, he's kicked to Murray. It's gone 15. The umpire said play on. A kick went 8 metres before. Curtin got it back. Gets it to Fogarty, who takes a nice mark in front of Adams, who did walk along the mark. No 50 this time, though. So Fogarty kicks down the line looking for Thilthorpe in front of Andrew. Got the first two on it. Rankin taps it into the space of Peatling, but those size 15 or 16 boots of Witts got in the way. Handballs over the top to Fiorini, to Rao, to Lombard. Holding the ball. Ben Keys is your man in the centre square.
That was outstanding, Isaac Rankin too. He missed a footy on the boundary and he just missiled and anticipated where that was going to go.
Keys through Worrell in the bullseye, kicks to Fogarty at right half forward, slots to Thilthorpe on the lead 40 from goal.
And that's what I love much better, to do that. Look where Mac Andrew is, way back in the square. If he leads up at it, anticipates, run, no one will get over the top of him.
Yeah, it was a good call, Jamo. The pressure by Rankin, and then Keys came in second man in. They've just been a lead at that Adelaide all year, but especially tonight.
We need something to sort of pin the interest on for the back end of this game. 99 career goals for Riley Thilthorpe. He's kicked 40 for the season, 1 for the day, 99 for his career, and the ton is up for the bearded wonder for the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. And ain't there some more to come in this career? Riley Thilthorpe with the first score of the last quarter. 8 minutes in, it's Adelaide 14-9-93 to Gold Coast 5-9-39.
It's the little things, you know, that Adelaide have been doing all year. And as I said just before, Keys busting his butt to get inside 50 and to lock the ball in, get a stoppage. Then we just saw then Rankin hold the tackle, Keys again, second man in. That's what Adelaide have been doing so well all year, and that's where they've just dominated Gold Coast tonight. All the little 1%ers, the tackling, the pressure. And then once they turn the ball over, as we know, and as we've said all year, they're the best team in the competition at punishing you from turnover, and that's what they did. And like you said, Jamo, when Thilthorpe's jumping at the ball like that, Superman wouldn't be able to stop him.
He is a brute.
54-point margin here at Adelaide Oval. It's deemed as the match of the round, but some big talking points. The Crows' dominance and Gold Coast not showing up in this first half. So Dawson lays a big tackle there. Closey coming off the wing. And the big injury talking point, Dan Rioli, came off a few times. He was sent back out there and looks to have done a serious leg injury. Fascinated to hear from Damien Hardwick on the decision behind that post-game. From the restart, Rory Laird gathers from a handball from Dawson. His quick kick's intercepted by Connor Butterick for the Suns, who goes inside the centre square. And
This
it's
is
another
ridiculous.
50-metre penalty.
Have you seen so many ridiculous 50s in the game? Probably, but this is up there today, surely.
3 tonight.
Another stand infringement.
Yeah.
Maybe the umpires are getting a bit distracted like you, Jamo.
Thinking of meatballs in Hobart.
Feeling like they need to do something.
I need to stick meatball down my pants, actually, in Hobart. It was that cold.
Butterick kicks to the pocket. It's out of play. We do word pictures on radio. That's not a good visual, Jamo.
Is that ever an advert for a roof down in Tassie?
44,249 here to see it. 44,249. Quentin Hull, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan with Liz Walsh at the Adelaide Oval. Crows by 54 points. Boundary throw in, Suns in attack. Lombard's tackled by Murray, got rid of it. Play on, comes out to Swallow. Quick hands to Rowell. Rowell from 25, a snap on goal without penetration. And it's punched across the face of goal into the point post. So it's going to be a boundary throw in. Left back pocket for the Crows. Right forward pocket for the Suns at the Riverbank stand. End of the Adelaide Oval.
I couldn't feel my feet on the walk home.
In Hobart?
Yep.
Really?
It said feels like -1.5.
And your feels like, can I feel like my feet? Ball throw.
I didn't want to feel like my feet.
Who was that? That was Peatling tackled by Humphrey. Ball tossed up. Laird underneath it. Tackled. Hand pass to Neil Bullen. Tackled without the ball, Neil Bullen. Yep, free kick. Neil Bullen, who's kicked 3 goals today. He has been among that group of second club players that have been so valuable for Adelaide this year.
Well, he came in straight away, Q, and he went straight into the leadership group as well. So he made an impact, and certainly throughout the game, his work rate is what's most noticeable by all the players. And here he is again following up.
So it went to Miller, now back to Neil Bullen at centre wing. Kicks a long ball up towards Thilthorpe, gets a run at it. McAndrew did well, spoiled it straight to the front where Saligo was waiting. His sweeping handball was looking for Pedler. Got in the hands of Jeffrey. Pedler laid the tackle, but the handball went back to Powell to Fiorini. They're deep in defence, the Suns. They're going to make this work. Butterick's got it in the left back pocket. Plays on. Now he's going to straighten things up. That's a very, very high ball out of defence. Numbers with the Crows. Worrell gathers that man, Neil Bullen. Kicks a check side inside the forward 50 and finds Peatling.
So he gets it deep in defence. He gets it out wide. He gets it on the wing, and then he's on the other half forward line.
Incredible.
It's just incredible
This
work rate.
is probably the best game I've seen him play for the Adelaide Footy Club, and that's saying something because he's had some good games this year. But what a pickup for him to walk through the footy club. Unbelievable.
23 disposals tonight, gone at 77%.
And there's that recruited group linking up there.
Yep.
Just to illustrate our chat.
So Peatling's going to line up from 45 metres out, almost directly in front, away to the right. That is a beautiful, beautiful kick there from Peatling. Delivers his first goal. Another one to the Crows. They extend it to a 10-goal margin there, 15-9-99. Gold Coast 5-9-39. 13 minutes gone in this final term.
And the 10th goal kicker for Adelaide.
If you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Fran's disappointed that her Pies lost, but she's got the Crows as her second side for 2025. Fran's one of our very loyal listeners.
Yes, always nice to hear from Fran.
Yep.
Well, we talk about Adelaide's recruits in the off-season, and Peatling, Cummington, Neil Bullen have just been unbelievable pickup. I'm not quite too sure of the history of the AFL that you've recruited 3 players that come into year 22 and have such an impact. They have done really well in recruiting those guys, and they're going to play a massive part over the next 5-6 weeks and help take this club to some good things in September.
Dean Brogan with you on ABC Sport. O'Brien's tap is shanked by Humphrey of the Suns in the middle. Hand passes to Fiorini. Clearance for Gold Coast. High kick inside 50. No one there for Gold Coast. Murray leaves his man to slide to deck and take a mark. I think, King was in the postcode, but never really a target of the kick. Murray kicks to left half back. Miller takes the grab near the boundary. He's got Worrell running hard, and he honours that. There's another 50. There are more demilitarised zone landmines going off than the land is not enough. Remember that Bond movie which started in Korea? And they had the hovercraft going over the landmines. Anyway, Worrell from the wing kicks the Crows into attack. Off the hands of the pack, Walker shrugs a tackle, gets on his right. Not enough coil from Tex Walker. It's a point. That's 100 up. 15-10, 100 to 5-9-69. That was one of my favourite Bond movies. You know that scene? He gets out from... They do the prisoner exchange, and he gets on the hovercraft through the demilitarised zone.
I do love my Bond movies, but
I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one. What's it called?
Who played Bond?
That was Pierce Brosnan. The World Is Not Enough.
Oh, The World Is Not Enough, yes.
Oh, no, it might have been Die Another Day.
I loved...
I'm going with The Spy Who Shagged Me, that's right.
No, it was Die Another Day because Madonna sang the song.
So Jed Walter, he's taken a mark inside 50 at right half forward.
Behave, Tom.
I'll stand corrected.
He kicks well by name. Just whether he kicks well by nature.
He should nail this. He's actually got a tremendous kick.
He had a shot earlier in the game, and, well, that's what they call the reverse mockers, because that was brilliant, Jamo. The reverse commentator's curse, because that was perfectly executed by Jed Walter. Gold Coast go to 6-9-45, Adelaide 15-10, 100.
Liz Walsh, straighten us up, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, in amongst all this James Bond talk, you've missed Isaac Cumming has come to the bench here. He's in a bit of pain and is in the hands of the physio up on the bench here, just having his right calf just really... It's interesting. There have been so many calf complaints tonight. I wonder what's with that.
Sam Berry's returned to the middle of the ground. He's just come back on. And I was just having a look at others in the SNFL. If you follow Adelaide, Sid Draper had 32, Brodie Smith 32, Lockie Murphy 29, and the return of Matt Crouch. He had 28 disposals. So the depth is there.
Matt Crouch is going to be the interesting one, because pre-game, Brokes, you talked about depth in that midfield. I'm not sure whose spot he's going to take, but he has been a previous All-Australian and was having another good year.
He's got plenty to choose from, haven't they? The match committee for Adelaide, they might need him. A couple of troops gone down tonight. Isaac Cummings had calf history with the Giants.
Centre bounce, Dawson forward of the stoppage, hands it to Berry. High kick inside 50 for Adelaide. Andrews underneath it and marks. Cue the boos for Big Mac, who plays on quickly, hand passes to his skipper. As a bounce running across the face of goal, Anderson. Oh, the kick's not a great choice. It's on the head of Jeffrey and spoiled away by Curtin over the boundary line.
I tell you, Curtin, if I'm doing the votes, he's a good chance to be in him. I've loved his game tonight. Absolutely loved it.
Our colleague Mitch Turner is in the studio and has found a screenshot of said hovercraft scene in Die Another Day with Pierce Brosnan shooting baddies and skimming over the top of all the landmines.
I always thought GoldenEye was the best, Pierce Brosnan, and matched by the video game, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners love. Boundary throw in. Gathering there at the bottom of the pack was the sub in Chase Jones. He was wrapped up in a 540 tackle, but no prior. And we'll have a throw up left half forward for Adelaide, who lead by 55 points. 18 minutes gone in this final term. It's been a dominant display. Berry runs through, tackled there by Rao, gathered by Rankin cleverly to Dawson. He chucks it on the left foot. One-on-one contest was Walker versus Andrew, and Andrew's been booed. He's played a pretty good game outside of that double free kick that he gave away earlier. He's certainly experiencing what it's like to rub it in the face of a player in a 1-point win who'd kicked 5 on him. The Adelaide Crows fans certainly haven't forgotten anything about that.
Ball thrown in, which taps down to Powell, who's immediately tackled by Keys, and another stoppage. So big rivalry games next week for these two teams. The local rivals, Suns play Lions, showdown here in town. Rao with the clearance from the pocket, rush kick to half-back. Ben Long takes the mark for the Suns. Plays on immediately with a kick to the spaces of the outer wing. No one there in a red shirt.
3-on-1.
Taken by Soligo. Hand pass is loose, but he got a push in the back. So Soligo given the ball on halfway on the outer side.
Who's home game? Queen?
It's down. It's at Carrara. Yep.
Adelaide's home game in the showdown.
Mm-hmm.
So Port Adelaide Brogues, a lot of injuries. Struggling.
Led chip short to Soligo between wing and half forward.
typically doesn't matter in a showdown, Jamo, but I think next week it might.
Hand pass to Michaelani. Kicks it on the head of the pack in the pocket, and it's out of play. Rankin just ensuring that he bumps into Connor Butterick there.
Some big games next week. It's rival round, isn't it? Starts off with the Swans and Giants on Friday, and Freo West Coast, I think. Are they on as well? I think it's a big rival round weekend.
Indeed. Boundary throw in about 40 from goal, but no clearance. The stoppage there. Adelaide still in attack. If you've just joined us, it's been one-way traffic. Crows by 19 at quarter time, 55 at half time. Suns were 10 minutes into the third term before they kicked a goal. Adelaide by 48 at three-quarter time, currently by 55. Ball at right half forward for the Crows. Peatling puts an up and under entry to the pocket on the head of Walker and Andrew. And try and volleyball it a bit, and then Rankin applies a tackle to lock it up.
Are you watching a series at the moment?
I just finished 9 Perfect Strangers.
No,
that's the Nicole Kidman one.
What about you, Jamo? That was
Stick.
Okay.
Owen Wilson?
The golf one. Yeah. Wow. Down the line.
Landman's good too, lads.
Worrell kicks in ball to Miller, who turns it over with 3 Suns surrounding him, but they in turn turn it over. A good effort there from Taylor to wrap it up in the middle, just forward of that centre circle.
So Dan Rioli off in his 200th game with a leg injury. That's of consequence beyond tonight for the Suns, you'd think. Mitch Hinge as well, unable to complete the game, going out with a hip complaint early on. So there's going to be a fair bit of postscript around this one. Witts gets a clearing kick from the stoppage. Tumbling ball will go out of play near 50. A couple of fans want insufficient, but the ump says no.
How long's Touk Miller out for? That is significant, isn't it? Both him last week and Daniel Rioli tonight.
So the official communique was 4 to 6 with his hamstring. So it's basically finals, you'd have to think. If not only a week before, if they want to, well, if they really need to roll the dice.
2 to 3 for Daniel Rioli, I would think, subject to how serious. Maybe
that looked bad.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, with those calf injuries. Clearing kick out of defence over the top of Walker. Andrew did well to gather, got a handball off to Butterick. He burned his opponent too. His quick kick was looking for Rao, but that man again. Neil Bullitt! What a star he is. Gets the spoil, then lays the massive tackle holding the ball.
Just great work. Anticipation and speed to get there and to lock them down.
You'd think it was the opening minutes of the game, but we're in red time here in the final quarter. The Crows are leading by 55 points, and he's delivering those type of efforts.
Short pass to Worrell, will chip it back to him. Neil Bullen plays on now. Runs forward of the logo. Kicks to attacking 50. Walker is behind Adams. Oh, the Rove, though. Rankin burst through. Took on too much holding the ball. And Rowell immediately takes the advantage, runs away on defensive 50. The Suns co-captain kicks to Long, marks near the bullseye, turns and kicks a scummed ball to half forward. Murray does well to trap it, then get up and pick up the ball. Well played, Nick Murray. Hand pass from Michaelani to Laird. Laird kicks it backwards 15 metres into the hands of Keane.
Wasn't it?
Keane kicks wide to Miller, marks it at right half back. Miller chips it to Worrell. Bit of keepings off in the pocket. Worrell back to Miller.
The captain's run out there.
It's fantasy footy time, isn't it?
5 minutes remaining, last quarter.
And we've got some texts saying, loving the call. Others are saying, stop crapping on about James Bond. You just can't please everyone, can you, Jamo?
There's always someone.
Yeah, 55 points is the margin here. And the Crows are still sharing it at right half back. Neil Bullen's got it and chips it. Marked by Taylor. Plays on with a hand pass to Miller. Here's the entry. It's a beautiful pass to Saligo. And he marks at 40 from goal. And for some reason, Ben Ainsworth wanted to puff out his chest and lip off. I mean, that's just so dumb. You're getting flogged by nearly 10 goals. Why would you do that? Mind you, Jake Saligo was up for it.
There you go. Yeah.
He might have provoked it.
They might be thinking of James Bond too. It's been a dominant Crows performance. Jake Saligo, third in the best and fairest last year. 8 goals for the season. Hasn't got one today. Can he join the party? Oh, he does, and he runs straight into Ainsworth as well. And then Ainsworth gives him one. Enough to put him down to a knee, and in come the players. And that's way more interesting than the scoreline being advanced by 6 points.
There's a few involved, isn't there, too?
16-10, 106 to 6-9-45.
Is this flying the flag, though? Like, honestly.
Look, clearly these two teams don't like each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's, they're both finals-bound teams, although Gold Coast have been horrible today, but they probably will have finals. So they might play each other again in another 5-6 weeks. But Saligo's an elite midfielder now, isn't he, Jamo? Like, you were talking about him pre-game, but he's starting to get his chocolates across the league now, and you hear other clubs and other media outlets talk about Saligo. He's a genuine A-grader now, and he's, like you said, third in the best and fairest. He'll be up there again this year. He's a legit A-grader that Adelaide have drafted and brought through.
Yeah, they drafted Rochelle in the same draft. They lived together. We know Rochelle's got that knee injury. He's beginning his rehab, or has begun his rehab, and hoping to be ready in time for finals, which are inevitable for the Crows. Getting a big percentage boost today as well. So back in the middle of the ground, Witts knocks it down. Jones, you can hear his head was taken off, but no free kick, not spotted by the umpire. Gold Coast have the footy through Anderson. His handball over the top went straight to Laird. He gets it to Keys, got some run from Peatling, quick hands, and dump behind play was Keys. So that was a free kick against Humphrey.
I can't imagine the Damien Hardwick team backing down. If someone provokes you, you give it back as hard.
So Michael Annie goes a switch. Sorry, Jamo. Looking for Worrell. It's brought to ground. He manages to get the handball away, but waiting in the middle of the ground was Flanders, but he handballed it straight back to Michael Annie.
Kicks the Crows towards half forward. Fogarty on a long lead. Takes the mark. Too far out even for his prodigious right boot. Drives a beautiful pass to the pocket, though, just through the fingers of Rank, and he had company from Butterick. Ball to deck. Witts hands it back to Butterick under pressure. Clearing kick marked by Evans on D50. His hand passes fumbled out of play by Johnny Noble. So we'll see a boundary throw in. Well, remember when Gold Coast dropped that game to North Melbourne last year, and Damien Hardwick dropped the F-bomb. I wonder what he's got for us in the post-game today. That's the macabre interest now, because this is the 2025 version of that horrible loss last year. This is their worst performance of the season, the Suns. Off the back of the dizzy heights of last Friday night, and that probably makes it worse.
I agree.
We took the Kool-Aid, Jamo, and believed after last Friday night, and then they turn up with this rubbish today.
I think that's the real key. I think every team has an anomaly where they might have a blowout in one particular game or match, and clearly the more experienced are better at it in maintaining the margins. But off the back of last week, probably their biggest win, their biggest gain, and then just put something up like this tonight. What have I got? Another?
No, sorry, Tom. You call,
I thought you were jumping in there.
No,
Centre half forward here for Gold Coast. Witts knocks it down to Rao. He's clean to Flanders. He's got an opportunity to go inside the forward 50. In best position was King. Keane got it down to Worrell. Handball back towards Neil Bullen. A slips catch there from Closey. Not quite paid, says the umpire. Just touched the turf. We'll have a ball up 35 metres out from the Suns.
So on the text, the complaint about the Bond talk, it goes, it's not that you're crapping on about James Bond, it's just you're crapping on about Pierce Brosnan's James Bond. So someone who's obviously a Sean Connery fan.
So back in action from the ball up. Rowell overran it, and Laird, the halfback, kicks it out of defence up towards Walker, who pulled Andrew out of the contest. He wins the free kick. He goes inboard to Noble on the logo, who runs in turn into the centre square. It was almost cleaned up. Gets it to Anderson, swings wide to Jeffrey. Inside the centre square, onto the corner. Runs his full 15, as you can hear in the umpire.
The crowd convinced the umpire to do that, didn't they? Geez, they're a knowledgeable crowd, aren't they, Adelaide?
Well, Rankin got pinged earlier, so they were wanting that retribution.
They know their footy, don't they, Jamo?
I think Ben Keys, yes, they are, but I think Ben Keys wanted him to get rid of the footy before he could do that. He was almost out on his feet trying to chase.
61 points the lead to Adelaide in the dying stages, this one. Kick across the face of goal, Michael Annie marks, slots it to Neil Bullen. What's he up to for the game? Jamo, Neil Bullen to Taylor.
31.
Okay, it was a chip to Taylor, who chips to Fogarty, who's on the outer wing. Fogarty with his right boot, kicks it to the Walker-Andrew battle. Walker beats him pointlessly. One step, 50 meets boundary paint. Oh, shot across the face. That would have been a beauty from Tex. Great mark, and then the two-step nonchalant ping, but he just pushed it across the face for a point.
I reckon anybody else has a shot from there, and they're getting in a bit of trouble. But no one even looked at Tex for that. That's the
Isaac
respect he
Rankin
has.
he was standing there with his arms out going wide, and he kicked to me.
There were free plays everywhere. Coming out of defence, flying kick towards Lombard, but Curtin marks centre wing. Another intercept mark to the Crows. Inboard to Murray, not the required 15. So he kicks up towards the pocket. Saligo's there. Pedlar's there. None of them went for the footy. Only Powell went for it. But Pedlar gathered. Good tackle, Powell. Knocks it out of his hands. That's holding the footy.
Pedlar might be hurt here too, actually, in that tackle.
So Pedlar's down. We've had a few casualties. He's up onto his feet now. So Lombard handballs it off to Jepson, the debutant. Not one to remember. He's had a crack though. Gets it to Jeffrey, true centre wing. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Flying in from the side. Good grab there from Humphrey. 55 metres from goal. Got some players open.
Hit Ben Long.
Yep. He had some options, so he's going to go deep into the forward line. Got some numbers there. The ball is brought to the ground. There's going to be a free kick too high. It's going to be against O'Brien or Michaelani. Just waiting for the official call and who this is going to go to. Looks like it's going to be Walter, who already has a goal in this quarter. Just around the neck there from Michaelani, certainly there. And the siren sounds. So Walter's going to have a shot after the siren. He can get his second for the quarter. But the story of the night is Adelaide's domination of another contender. And the injuries. One to the Crows in Mitch Hinge, but the big one, Dan Rioli, with it looks like a serious leg injury. We'll have more on that as Walter comes in from 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle, left-hand side. He's pulled it away to the left, sums up Gold Coast night. And Adelaide, from start to finish, true domination. They are a real premiership contender.
Australia, and we're known as the Adelaide Crows. We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation, our determination shows. We're the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
The Suns did not kick a goal until 11 minutes into the third quarter. By that point, Adelaide had kicked 11. It was an utter rout in the first half. 19 points the lead at quarter time, 55 at half time, 48 at three-quarter time, and 61 points in the end. Adelaide 16 goals, 11, 107 to Gold Coast's 6, 10, 46. So the Crows are now 13 wins with 5 losses ahead of the showdown next week. And the Gold Coast Suns, their 6th loss of the season, and they face the Brisbane Lions. We'd love to hear from you on 0437 774 774. Give us your name and your thoughts on either this or the amazing win from the Dockers today, where they kicked the last 4 goals, coming from 22 points down to beat the Pies by 1. Cats won by 31 earlier today as well. But as the fans mingle and now start to make their way to the exits, having sung the song, Adelaide 16-11, 107 to Gold Coast 6-10, 46. 3 goals for Alex Neil-Bullen, 2 goals for Isaac Rankin, 2 for Taylor Walker, 2 for Riley Thilthorpe, and single goals for Ben Key, Sam Berry, Dan Curtin, Luke Pedlar, Jordan Dawson, Jake Saligo and James Peatling. Plenty of contributors for the Crows, while for Gold Coast, Jed Walter, Sam Flanders, Ben Ainsworth, Ethan Reid, Ben King and Joel Jeffrey all kicked 1 goal apiece. As is ever the case, our experts and premiership heroes know a thing or two about it. The dissection of a one-sided game is always the big question. How good the winners, how bad the losers? Brogues, we'll start with you.
I think tonight really consolidates Adelaide and just how good they are. I thought that they are a serious football team. They're already 1 game off top spot now. I think they're the form team in the 8. They demolished Gold Coast in that first half. That's as good as footy as you'll see. Now, Gold Coast, the numbers say they were okay from a contested ball, from clearances, from uncontested possession. They showed up in that sense, but what they didn't show up is they just couldn't stop Adelaide, and their entries inside 50. It was like a Southern League football team kicking the ball inside to an AFL team, and they just had no efficiency, no system going forward. And we called it in the pre-game that if you let Adelaide, if you turn the ball over against Adelaide, you're going to get punished, and that's exactly what happened. But look, second half they showed a bit, but really the game's over. But it tells me Adelaide they are really legit. They are so legit that I can't see really. They play like that. I can't see anybody beating them, Jamo.
Yeah, look, I thought the game, other than maybe 10 or 15 minutes in that third quarter, I thought Adelaide were poor, but the rest of the game they dominated. Where Adelaide won the game or Gold Coast lost it, this is in Gold Coast forward 50. Adelaide took 36 marks, Gold Coast took 8.
So repeat that stat.
So 36 marks to Adelaide in the Gold Coast forward 50 for the entire game.
And the Suns took 8 grabs.
So inside 50s, 52-46 in favour of the Gold Coast. So they had enough of the football to get it in there. Disposals 83-47. So this is inside Gold Coast forward 50. Uncontested 61 possessions to 29 in favour of Adelaide. Intercepts 31-3 in favour of Adelaide. So that is a huge area of where the Gold Coast fell away, but again highlighting how good Adelaide's defence is. Yeah. But once they do that, they then get the footy and go the other way. They're the number one team in the competition from going one end to the other once they intercept the opposition. And they just kick big scores. They've kicked monumental scores this year.
And the thing that Dimmer looks at as well, Jamo, is the first real blowout that the Suns have suffered this year. So their 5 losses had been by, the biggest margin was 4 goals in that really wet game at Cardinia Park where they lost to Geelong. Outside of that, the margins had been 24, 17, 11, 11 and 7. So the Suns, although having lost those 5 previous, they were in those games. This has gone back to the bad old days at Carrara with this performance.
Yeah.
It's only 1 week in footy, Jamo, but and Dean. But you know the question is now with Daniel Rioli not there next week and potentially the next couple, Touk Miller not there as well. It's the same question of where's the maturity of the rest of the group.
Sam Collins was the other one.
Sam Collins was the other one.
Yep. So he's out.
Well, they're in danger now. They're only Bulldogs are right behind them. They're a game off being 9th spot. They got some injuries. They got Brisbane next week. Like, they're in danger now of slipping out.
Lions next week, and they have absolutely owned the Suns of recent times.
Yeah. We say it a lot with these emerging teams. It was like that for GWS when they finally emerged, but next week's probably the biggest game for them in their club history, really, in context, because to put up a performance like this in the first half when they would have had expectation to win, I think a lot of people thought the Crows would win tonight, so that's okay to lose away at Adelaide Oval. The Crows are a really good team, perhaps one of the best 2 teams in the comp, but next week they have to find a response with some players out, and Brisbane, they won't take the foot off the throat. No. They'll revel in that opportunity to put them out of the 8, because the Western Bulldogs play Essendon, so that's going to be a guaranteed 4 points, and they have a wonderful percentage.
Brett from Canberra texts, I think Miller being out's a major issue. We know they still haven't proven themselves outside of the coast. Thank you, Brett. 0437 774 774. And Bill had previously texts, I think it's true, the Gold Coast have never, in capital letters, won at the Adelaide Oval, question mark. Correct, Bill. So that's 12 starts, no wins for Gold Coast at this house.
That was Adelaide's 7th win this season over 10 goals.
That's what I mean.
They are a scoring machine, and they've lost 5 games. Their biggest losing margin was round 5 versus Geelong by 19 points. Outside of that, it's been 1 point to Gold Coast, round 4. 18 points Fremantle away. 10 points Collingwood, and 3 points the Hawks. So
that's what I mean, Gemma. Like, no other team in the comp's got that. Has done that so far, and their numbers, they're in the top 3 or 4 for all the KPIs you need to be to win a flag, or at least get there. They're there. They're right up there, and they're big
numbers.
They're they're the best team in the competition for mine at this moment in time in the AFL competition.
Well, Liz Walsh is getting herself into position in the Adelaide rooms. Call them in, Liz. A dominant performance from the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, that's right, with Jordan Dawson leading them into the change rooms, giving high fives to all the kids who have made their way to the front of the friends and family section, which I actually have to say, they are packing them in here tonight. They're sort of 5 deep. I'm not sure I've seen such a packed change rooms post-game for quite some time. Everyone really excited, got their phones up to record this. There's a great feeling down here. Here comes Taylor Walker. He's got his kids with him. Wayne Miller, of course, he has a newborn baby in the NICU, I think. Was born a few weeks premature, but he's got his other son with him in the circle tonight. And here we go. They're just getting ready now.
Pride of South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide Crows. The courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation, and determination. Pride of South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide Crows.
There you have it, an extremely happy group, which happily Mitch Hinge was able to join in that circle then as well, which is great for him, but still has ice, looks like, on tape to his back. So anyway, we'll let them just congratulate each other, and we'll be back soon with a player interview.
Thanks, Liz. We'll stay close. Liz Walsh in the Adelaide rooms in the wake of a 61-point victory for the Crows. Their biggest margin got out to 69, and that was just before the Suns kicked their first goal. So 10 minutes into the third quarter, Adelaide was 69 in front, and that's basically when the Suns kicked their first goal and then went on a bit of a run. But utterly dominant from Adelaide, who, as mentioned, now 13 wins, 5 losses. Showdown next. And we get to that point of the season, Jamo and Dean, where obviously, the footy club does its own thing as to the way they look ahead, but as fans now, we see the finish line. So for Adelaide, it's not only Port next week, but then Hawthorn here. They go to Perth to play the Eagles, host Collingwood, and then have North at the Docklands to finish. So just to finish off the last 5 games for Adelaide, Showdown, Hawthorn here, West Coast in Perth, Collingwood here, and North Melbourne at Docklands. Now for the Suns, who are 11 wins, 6 losses, 4 of their 5 remaining games are at Carrara, but they play Brisbane next week. Haven't beaten them for a long time. What was it? I regret. They beat them in a meaningless game a couple of years ago, but outside of that, Brisbane's dominated them for basically 6 years. Then they've got Richmond at home, Carlton at Docklands, Greater Western Sydney at home, and then the floating Essendon fixture, which we wait to have confirmation. So 4 of their last 5 for the Suns are at home, but of those, Lions and Giants will travel to Carrara.
So they reckon you need 14 this year wins to really make your spot in the 8. It used to be 13, but they reckon 14. 13, a very healthy percentage, probably get you 8th. So they're 2 wins away. Look, you'd think they'd make it, but look, is the gap from the top 3, 4 and the bottom 4 is actually is it getting bigger as we're going in, or are we judging Gold Coast too hard? It's their first real howler. They've got some injuries, but most clubs do. And they played a red-hot Adelaide, who we think are going to be right there at the pointy end. We don't think Gold Coast... we think they'll make the finals, but I don't think they're going to go as far as what Adelaide will. So are we being a little bit too hard on them?
So the interesting thing about that loss, though, for the Suns, it also gives their percentage of hammering, which started today at 122. It ends the day at 115. And they're only 4 premiership points ahead of the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs have got a far superior percentage at 127.4. I'll tell you who also liked that result. Swans fans like that result as well. The Swans now, with the Suns losing, they're 2 wins outside of the 8. Just wondering whether I pull the trigger on going for the ladder right now, or I don't want to start and Liz then chimes in from the rooms. What do you reckon? How long do we usually wait for the Crows guys?
They're pretty good.
Yeah. I won't pull the trigger on the ladder just yet.
I think again, I think the concern for the Gold Coast is that, yes, they've got games at home, but I think the injury is the concerns of how significant they are. Like if we find out, I don't know where Sam Collins, how far away he is, like those three are hugely significant.
Well, Collins got named to play on Thursday, and then 24 hours later when they had the Friday update, he wasn't in the team.
But even so, like I think that the impact that Daniel Rioli provides is the one. If they can get through and still win to keep their chances alive of top 8, the fact that if they're going to limp in and lose more than they win because of injuries, I think they're going to trip up.
That test next week, I mean, that's where it's going to come to line. And there's the Sydney Derbies on as well, which if the Swans can get up over GWS, they move to 1 win away, because the Western Bulldogs, we assume, would beat Essendon. So I really do think this game for Gold Coast next week is the most important.
Yeah, I've looked up that stat. It's 12 of the last 13 Q clashes going to the Lions, with the Suns winning one late in 2023 when the Lions were well established. Down to Liz in the Adelaide rooms.
Thank you, Quentin. I am here with Crows leadership group member Alex Neil-Bullen. Alex, an incredible dominant win tonight. Your defence really stood up, and then you had 11 individual goal kickers. What's most pleasing about that win?
Yeah, thanks, Liz. I think you're spot on there. Coming into this footy club, I understood very early that it's a team contribution each week. We do have some highly talented players, but what I've been so pleased about is you're seeing a group of players who continue to roll out each week. And yes, some players might have an outstanding game here, but we don't rely on 3 or 4 of them. And I'm talking to players like Zach Taylor, came in tonight, played multiple roles, does his role extremely well, but then has his moments to create some goals as well. Chase Jones comes into the side as a sub, comes on the wing, and then finds himself at the end on Noah Anderson, arguably one of the best midfielders in the comp. So that's the theme of the group. Really pleased with how we started the game tonight. And when you start a game like that, almost like a finals like intensity, you set the scene, and all of a sudden the group understand what the game's going to look like. And we put it to Gold Coast. They came back as we knew they would. A similar game to what they experienced a week before. Fast footy, and again, the way we were able to handle the momentum and get the game back in our terms, really pleasing.
That literally was my next question. The hot start followed by the momentum shift in that third quarter. What do you think the team really did to wrestle that back?
Just standing up in key moments, whether that's a tackle or as simple as marking the ball, finding a mark. That's something that, as a group, the maturity you're showing, the back six have been phenomenal this year, and their ability to understand when they can impact, and also when they just need to, find something in the game that can get our momentum back. So there's a clear understanding. I feel like the group's in a great spot, but there's going to be many more challenges to come, Liz, and we just got to continue to make sure we have the right mindset.
Is the team allowed to start talking the F word?
Nah, not internally. That's something you leave for you guys in the media to talk about. For us, is we're literally got 5 or 6 games left before the home and away finishes, and we just want to make sure we continue to rebuild and improve. You've seen over the last 3 years the teams that continue to improve throughout a footy year on the footy calendar usually give themselves a chance. So that's our sole focus coming in and making sure we have a great mindset.
Let's head up to our experts for more questions. Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Alex, Rod Jamieson, you led by example. Incredible game tonight, personally. Well done. But when you dissect the game, you'll have a look. The inside or defensive 50, the back line was insanely good tonight. They took 36 marks against 8. The intercepts 31-3. That was an incredible defensive game tonight.
Yeah, and that's the maturity we're showing. I remember walking in here at half time and I had a quick look up at the scoreboard and couldn't believe the scoreline, because on field it didn't actually feel like we were in control as much as maybe what the scoreboard suggested. So you've got to thank your back six at times and our team D to, again, stand up in crucial moments, but also the appreciation that they have for each other. So say it's Mark Ken comes over and does a big spoil. You see the energy that gives the group. And again, I'll go back to what I touched on before. When you start a game like that, it gives you a clear pathway of what's expected for the majority of the game. And they've been huge this year, and they're giving ourselves an opportunity to not only stay in games but also control games.
Riley O'Brien also 40 hit-outs, 35. Just first hand on the football was also exceptional against Jared Witts.
Yeah, and he's someone, when I came into the footy club this year, I was so excited to play with, because he's a competitor. And the more footy you watch, the more consistent he is, and also he's just no fuss. No matter what the challenge is, I'm so proud of him, and he's just a great teammate. So again, he sets the scene with his presence, as a lot of big men do in the league. He gets his hand on the footy first and sets the agenda for our midfielders. So really pleased of how he's playing at the moment.
We look up here and we look at Matt Rao get at the footy. It must be like trying to tackle a crocodile sometimes.
Yeah, I guess we're lucky we have Sam Berry, who's a similar type. As soon as they get their hands on it, it's like a vice and you can't get it off him. You just got to try to control and mitigate the influence they have around stoppage. And I guess to our credit, like I know he probably had a heap of the footy, but I didn't feel like we allowed them to get that strength on, which is their inside to outside game. And you've got to tip your hat to their midfield because they're a quality unit. And we also understand they probably didn't have their number one player in there, and took Miller running around as well. So
Neil Dean Bergen here, mate. Sensational game. You were best on ground by far, mate. So well done, mate. I just want to get your view. You were at Melbourne for a long time, very successful. Where does this group sit compared to that of your heyday in Melbourne? When I'm not saying when you won the flag, but sort of around that era. What's some of the similarities that you're seeing and feeling day to day, and even on game day?
Yeah, it is a tough one, Dean, because when you come in, it's obviously a blank canvas with the Crows. But what I've seen is the footy club has already started probably 3 or 4 years ago, bringing people into this club that are, one, setting the foundations of where they want to go to, but also getting people in that and drive the Monday to Friday. And I feel like I'm very fortunate of coming into the footy club when I did, because they've already set that for the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm talking about your Josh Worrells, Luke Pedler, Zach Taylor. They're all gaining confidence and experience, and that's gold. When you get to a game like tonight, that's when that rises. And those experiences, whether it's 30 games, 40 games, 50 games, they're not trying to go out there and play an individual game. They're trying to plug into the team, and that allows us to build consistency. And probably I've seen that's the trajectory of where the footy club's going. Now the challenge is to maintain that and not chase what's ahead of us, is continue to stay level-headed and have a mature performance each week.
Alex, it's Quentin Hull here. Congratulations. I'm going to go fishing a bit here. It looked like that meant a bit extra to you guys after the close shave earlier in the year. I don't think you guys like each other much, do you two?
Rivalry in footy is a great thing, and internally we understand how good of a side they are, especially in the contest. So you might ask, do we prep ourselves for the contest more than any other game? I hope not, but in saying that, that's why I'm so pleased of how we started the game, because that is their number one strength, the contest, and I felt like we matched it. And look, I'm sure they're sitting there as well and understand what our strengths are. So this is just the game of footy you play. You respect the opposition strengths, but you've also got to dial in on what we're good at a footy club. And again, really pleased with the start.
It's Tom Wilson here, Alex. Do you think you rattled them out there? There was the double free kick and goal and a lot of pushing and shoves. Do you think you got under their skin?
Oh, that's a question for them. What I can say is we took our opportunities in front of goal, and Tex Walker talks about it a lot, but scoreboard pressure is a great level of pressure, and that builds momentum, and it also can wrestle momentum back. So we had some crucial moments. Izzy Rankin, in, I think it was that third term, went back and slotted a goal when they put on 3 or 4 goals. So again, talking about little moments, that's what we're building, and I hope you guys upstairs see that each week. A team effort. Individuals don't necessarily have to do it all by themselves.
We saw that, and the rivalry that you talk about against Gold Coast, well, it doesn't get any bigger than the showdown next week. What a mouth-watering build-up it's going to be, and no doubt Port Adelaide, they can't play finals. They're going to want to upset your run this week. That's going to be a huge build-up, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a taste of that earlier in the year. Everyone was saying a showdown is a finals-like intensity, and no matter where each footy club is at, every team rocks up and plays a consistent brand. So it's going to be a great game. You understand what sports strengths are, and I'm sure Kenny will be getting them revved up.
31 possessions, 12 score involvements, 3 goals yourself, Alex. That's an exceptional performance. Well played, and we really appreciate your time on ABC Sport.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
He was a star today, and you guys have seen him as soon as he came into Adelaide Crows colours. Is that his best game as a Crow, Jamo?
Yeah, I would say it is. I mean, he's had some very good games, but that is an exceptional game from him tonight. Across the board, 31 disposals, went at 80% kicking efficiency. He's had 9 contested, 4 tackles, 23 uncontested, 2 inside 50s, 12 score involvements, 3 goal 1, and just the pressure, the tackling that he applied, and to boot, how incredibly well did he just talk?
I was going to mention that. Like, that is leadership.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got that running around, you're out there. Imagine what he's saying to the players and his teammates, and what he's saying at the breaks and pre-game and half-time. Like, I don't know Neil Bullen that well, but everyone that talks about Neil Bullen talks about that and his work rate. I just can't believe they got him. Like, and not for much either, was it, Jamo? I don't think they gave up that much to get him.
I can't
feel like it
recall
was
the
a second
deal.
round pick, I think. And he did have 2 years left on his deal at Melbourne, but he wanted to come home for family reasons, and Melbourne did the good thing for him, and that does happen in the competition. But
well, that when you're a great human like that, and you're a great club man, you normally find your way to where you want to go, because Melbourne probably said, "You've given us good service. Go and do what you need to do." Like, yeah.
Well, that was the thing. So at the Best and Fairest, he finished third last year, and he was applauded, a resounding applause that he was going. They thanked him for his service to the football club. He went with their wishes, where you see other clubs. Josh Battle leaving St Kilda. Don't think he was invited to the awards night. So whether that has something to do with Josh Battle or whether that has something to do with the St Kilda Football Club, the way that Alex Neil Bullen handled himself for his 10 years at Melbourne, a premiership player, always up there in the Best and Fairest, was given a round of applause. And just the way that he spoke that night and the way he's come to the Crows is a real credit to him.
I think it's reflective upon clubs, isn't it, too? Like, you've got to respect a player regardless how long and what they've contributed. At Marriott Shopping Centre over here a couple of times, I've been there. And his mum, for the last 6 years, is going, he wants to come home. Get him home, get him home. We tried twice, and, of course, the time that we move out of the... and he comes back. Like, he's almost worked his way through and manoeuvred it, but his mum did his best to get him back home.
You put in the hard work early, Jamo, and you've seen it come to fruition. Now, Rod Jemison and Dean Brogan, along with Quentin Hull and Tom Wilson, wrapping up this dominant performance from the Adelaide Crows. 61-point victors over the Gold Coast Suns. 16-11, 107 to 6-10, 46. The Suns didn't kick a goal until 10 minutes into the third quarter. And not just wrapping up this game, but... I'll get to that latter after today's football, which saw the Dockers kick the last 4 goals of the game at the MCG. They came from 22 points down to beat Collingwood by a point. So back-to-back losses for the Magpies. 37 possessions for Caleb Sarong, 6 goals for Patrick Voss. And even though Nick Dacos had 43 disposals, Fremantle won 12-7-79 to Collingwood's 11-12-78. And Geelong, too good for St Kilda, who sort of came at the Cats in fits and spurts, but really Geelong dominant for the majority of that contest. Jeremy Cameron with 5 goals. Cats by 31 at 17-11, 113 to St Kilda's 12-10, 82, which, gentlemen, has the AFL ladder looking like this going into what's a big rivalry round 20 next week. So that's the 4th loss of the season for the Magpies. They're 14-4 and are 2 premiership points ahead of Brisbane with the 13.5 wins. 13 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. Lions have a just 2-point advantage over the Crows, that half win. So 14-4 for Collingwood, 13-1-4 for the Lions, 13-5 for the Adelaide Crows. And the Crows' percentage is the best in the comp at 139.6. For sort of comparison, the Pies are about 133 and the Lions about 117. Rounding out the top 4 on percentage is Geelong, but 4th through 7th all has 12 wins and 6 losses. Cats, 128%. Hawks, 119%. Giants, 6th, 116%. Dockers, 7th, 109%. And then the Suns, there's almost an argument, with no disrespect to Essendon's supporters, but, you know, the Suns are that game behind. So if if the Suns beat Essendon, or if they had have beaten earlier in the year, so they could be 12-6 as well. But they're that one shy at 11-6. So the Suns are inside the 8 with the game in hand at 11-6. So it does give a little bit of a confusing look at the gap. Essentially, the gap to the top 8, I'm going to still put it at 2 wins. Even though at the moment, the Suns are only 4 premiership points ahead of the Dogs. But the Suns have played 1 less game against a team which half the squad's injured or missing. So, and we were always going to get into this weird space, weren't we, when Tropical Cyclone Alfred suspended that opening round game, and the AFL decided to play it at the end of the year rather than to move it at that point in time. So Suns still inside the 8 with the game in hand, with 11 wins, 6 losses. Outside the 8, Bulldogs 10-8. But a good percentage, 127.4. That's going to be very important. And then the Swans, they keep boxing, 9-9, but their percentage is poor at 96.5. So it's beat the Giants or bust, you'd think, for the Swans next week. The mathematicians can tell you otherwise, but we'll try and talk in footy reality rather than maths.
I think it's coming out of the top 9, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
And then Port 8-10, Carlton 7-11 in 12th. Then the D's and the Bombers with 6 wins. Down to 15th, 16th for St Kilda and Richmond in that order. 4 wins for North, 1 win for West Coast. And then that's the ladder.
We talk about the domination of Adelaide across the board. Their defence tonight was absolutely outstanding. So they've had 112 marks for the entire night. The defence of Worrell, Laird, Millerer, Michael Lanny, Keane, Murray, and let's include Hinge, they've had 52 marks out of the 112. They absolutely dominated across the halfback line tonight.
And coming into the season, Jamo, if you looked at Adelaide on paper, you'd probably say that back line's a bit of a worry.
Yep.
No one knew how good Dan Curtin was.
And it's actually, they're probably one wood now. It's probably the strength of their game. They have been rocks. So that back six has been solid all year. Their team defence has gotten better since the bye. I don't know what the numbers are, but they were letting teams score pretty easily. And that had nothing to do with the back six. It was more free-flowing. But what they've been able to do from a defensive point of view since the bye, which was 6-7 weeks ago, I reckon I'd love to get the number on it, but I think they're keeping teams to under 10 goals.
I might challenge you on it, because I think last year we saw glimpses of what they could do, and at some point we actually thought if Adelaide need to improve, they need to improve the defence. But that's when Worrell stood up. Curtin was out of it for a long time.
Max Michaelini.
He's just got better and better.
They've gotten better, haven't they? Watching the...
Millerer was out for long periods of time. He comes back in. So I think it exposed something that, and highlight, like Nan Curvis, who didn't play tonight, he went back and played really well back there. So I think there were times where we all thought that maybe Adelaide's defence was the worst part of the game. But I think last year sort of highlighted it's probably a significant part, and then they've gone and recruited. Curtin stood up, midfield forward in rank and all those sort of things. So I think it's been really good.
The other big piece of news today, Steve May sent directly to the tribunal for that clash with Frankie Jones last night, and it's been deemed careless, severe and high. So Steve May directed to the tribunal with that.
I'm going to say
last night
chance to get off, and I think the Alex Pearce one against Darcy Byrne-Jones is almost the same, but not very, very similar. So I that would be my view. I think he's stiff. I understand why, but in terms of the act, I think he sort of half pulled out. He didn't try and come through. He just ran through the footy. I think he's a chance to get off.
Who's on votes, Judy?
Who's on what?
The votes.
Brogues.
Brogues is doing the votes.
I think we all agreed. It's an easy one tonight. So
well, the three seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, 3 straightforward. We'll get there in a second. I thought Matt Rao was, without him tonight, they would have lost by 100. I thought he gets 1 vote. I thought Worrell was unbelievable. Every time I watch Worrell play, I go, that's the best game he's played. But
17 kicks at 94%.
He's All-Australian. He has to be an All-Australian.
And 11 marks.
Superstar. He's an unbelievable player. He gets 2, and then Neil Bullen easily 3 votes.
So that back line, it's the second best in the comp, only behind Collingwood. They've been the best back 6 since round 8.
Wow. And
we talk about their scoring prowess. They're the 3rd best scoring team. So they're top 3.
Pretty good profile, isn't it?
It is.
So a 61-point win here for Adelaide, a 1-point win for Freo, 31 points the margin at Cardinia Park earlier today. We've got a couple of minutes before we wrap it up. So lots of rivalries next week. I'm going to chuck a tough hypothetical out there. Take out the showdown for your local allegiances. You've got a chance to go to one footy game next week. Which one do you choose? I'll go through them. It starts with Hawks v Blues Thursday night, and then rolls into another one of those weird Friday night doubles, Essendon v Dogs, Giants v Swans. Then Saturday, Q Clash at Carrara, Derby out west, North v Geelong and the showdown, and then Sunday, Richmond v Collingwood and St Kilda versus Melbourne.
Giant Swans.
Giant Swans is yours?
Yeah, I'd go to that one.
That'd be a cracker.
Yeah.
It's at Giant Stadium. If it was at the SCG, it'd be a bigger atmosphere.
But Sydney seem to have it over the Giants. They seem to win the games that they shouldn't. I mean, Giants have only beaten them twice over the last 6 games or something. But yeah, I think that one is huge for lots of reasons. I mean, obviously the showdown, but if you take your mind out of the showdown, like you just asked, definitely the Giant Swans, I think that's going to be an absolute ripper.
I've never been to a derby. I'd like to go to that, Fremantle West Coast.
Yep. You'd think Fremantle will have the upper hand for that one. It's a thing. But you're right about that Sydney derby, because if the Swans can win, they keep it alive.
Yeah. And everyone's, all of those games have got their appeal. But, Brogues, you've answered the question exactly the reason why I asked the question. Give the context of which of those rivalry games has probably got a lot of currency.
Well,
next week.
The QCash does.
Yeah, it does too.
I just much prefer to watch Giants than Sydney.
Okay.
Compared to what I watched tonight from the Gold Coast. But yeah, it's a fascinating couple of weeks coming up. I think you're going to need 14 wins to safely get in there, like you are.
Good to see you, Dean.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you, Jamo.
Q, always a pleasure.
I still love your haircut so much. I just copy it all the time, Jamo. Tommy, thanks.
Always great fun.
To Paul on the faders, and to Liz downstairs, and also to Mitch back in the studio, and to you for your company across this round 19 of football. So the Dockers by a point, the Crows by 10+ goals, and the Cats did it easily at Cardinia Park. I hope you enjoyed your Sunday of football with us. It starts all again on Thursday with the Hawks taking on the Blues.
Rankin goes again, gathers the footy, kicks towards centre half forward, finds Miller, plays on quickly, looking for Thilthorpe, who marks at the highest point, 35 metres out directly in front. Can fire a first blow for the Crows. He does it on the 2-minute mark, and they're into McAndrews.
They're into him.
McAndrews just hit Taylor Walker high. The umpires are circling, no free kick, but the Crows strike first.
Dawson got a hand pass away. Rush kick into the goal mouth though. And Hewland, he's got the footy, but the umpire's saying a free kick going Adelaide's way. And it's the ex-son, the man who was the exclamation point at the end of the round 4 game. He kicks the goal.
Kicks towards Thilthorpe, who gathers like a small player off the half volley. Handballs to Neil Bullen. Walker's in the pocket. He goes to Manila and he slotted it. Taylor Walker, the showman. And he celebrates in front of the home fans. Adelaide are on fire.
He's absolutely kicked a belter of a goal, Taylor Walker.
Toe pokes inside 50. Walker got a one-handed piece of a mark that he couldn't complete. Rode by Neil Bullen in the pocket, and a brilliant snap, hard on the boundary. 30 from goal. Oh, the skill when the players are running towards the boundary and hook the ball across their body. Great goal from Alex Neil Bullen. That's 4 for the Crows.
Danny Rioli's down behind play. He
can't walk good there. He can't walk. Or he's popped his calf.
Oh, so Rioli can't put any weight on his left leg whatsoever. He's got a trainer under either armpit.
Back in the middle of the ground, Witts knocks it down to Humphrey, who bursts through the middle, runs to centre half forward. He kicks. It's a tumbling ball. Poor option. Dropped by Keane though. He could pay. Lands in the lap of King, and he kicks the goal. Okay.
Ricochets to Anderson. Suns ball. Hand pass to Flanders. Oh, Adams had it and lost it. Curtin steals it. Hand passes to Neil Bullen. He's got 3. Snaps a goal from the top of the goal mouth. Call it off. This is a non-contest. 11-5, 71 to 5 points. Marked by Humphrey, centre half back. He kicks to centre half forward, and it's marked by Reid. That should be 50 against Murray. Yep, it is. So this will be Gold Coast's first goal. Ethan Reid has been marched to the goal mouth. And finally, the Suns, at the 10-minute mark of the 3rd term, kick their first goal.
Neil Bullen doesn't go for goal. He just tries to set this up towards Fogarty. Punched away by Hewland. Handball off to Curtin. Curtin at the front. And that's definitely Curtin's now for Gold Coast. They rallied in this corner, but Adelaide have fought back. And Adelaide, from start to finish, true domination. They are a real premiership contender.